everyone.
Hey, guys.
Hi, my lovely mi amor, Michelle.
Hello, my babe. How are you?
Why do I look so yellow? It's so weird. Oh,
No,
wow.
you're not. I feel like you're more adjusted this week. You were real bright last week, but now you're cool.
Hi, everybody in chat. Welcome to a Thursday morning / afternoon / evening, wherever you are, live. Hello to Hope and Delana and Lil Wing. Hi, Spicy Sugar.
I
Hi,
love
Tiffany.
saying Little Wing and Lil Wing. Hold
Lil
on.
Wang. It's like Lil Wang. Well, I can't. I'm like, where's my mouse? So I can't even see who's here. Hi now. Hi, Princess Megan Elsa.
Meow, meow.
I like spicy.
Spicy sugar. Hello.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, Mama Stone. Oh, have fun with that.
Yeah.
We'll try to keep it as GPG rated as possible.
We will. Promise.
I don't know. I try. I don't know.
She gets me. I can't promise in reference of her, but G-Man, we'll do our best.
Hi, K-Braze. Hi, Joe. Hi, Angie Baby. Hi, Just Melissa.
I'm just Melissa.
Hi, Dee.
Hey, Dee.
Hi, Amelia. Hi, NorCal. Cali Day Live. J.E. Everett. J.E. Everett.
Do I have an echo, T? Am I?
Not to me, you don't, but you know how that goes.
Chat, let me know, please. It's that type of day. Even that's
know.
Shortcake. I like that.
Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Shortcake.
Tiffany.
That's what I want. Like, shortcake reminds me of milkshake.
Yes. Yeah. And I love milkshakes. Hey, Chanel, thank you. Thank you, babe.
I don't know why I don't like that color, though, at all.
Keep raise.
It's really going to bother me.
What color?
My color.
You can't help it. It's your screens because you have 50 screens in front of you, like the CIA, and, it's just it's what's happening back here, babe.
I control all of our airspace from here.
She does.
This location. Wow. Okay, so before we get started, I need to know how many people, you guys put a 1 if you've been watching the trial, put a 2 if you have not, and a 3 if you've caught some of it here and there. Yes. So 1, you've watched, 2, you've not watched, 3, some here and there.
Shortcake, I'll take it. I'm short too. And hey, BR and Delana, I'm sorry. Our rock star mods, we love you. Fluffy bunny.
Okay, so like everybody's like, 3, some here and there, okay? Lots of 1s. I love that. We don't have any 2s though, and like everybody's like, no, we're in this. We're here.
I think it was jury selection day. It was literally the first day of jury selection. It was like 15 minutes before it's about to come on. And I'm like, I go into our little chat and I'm like, guys, let's go. Jen Lou's like, Michelle, it's just jury selection. Calm down.
Yeah, calm down. Calm down.
We've been waiting.
Lots of 1s and lots of 3s. So I was telling Michelle before we started, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm playing a game on my phone. She's like, what? And I'm like, I feel like today is probably one of the last days for not having a massive amount of being overwhelmed with trials. So just a status update on where we are. Hi, Queen Bee. Hi, Sunset Gazing.
Hi, Queen Bee.
Hi, Angie Baby. Hi, Shell. Hi, Shauna. Hi, Truth Seeker.
Hey,
so many of you guys popped in with the numbers that I probably missed you, and I'm sorry. So hi, everybody.
Hey. Amanda Carroll, we see you. Learning to live.
Status update, Lori and Chad Daybell trial, opening statements start Monday. So we don't have access to watch that one, but I know that why I always want to say that. East Idaho News with Nate Eaton is purchasing the audio, and they're trying to get it daily so that they can upload it that night. Did I say? I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Did I say jury selection because we were talking about juries? Or did I say opening statements?
Oh, I thought you said opening statements.
Okay, I did. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, I'm just like rewind. I'm like, guys, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
Hey, Queen Olive. Glow bug.
Opening statements, Vallow Daybell, start Monday. East Idaho News, will be purchasing the audio. So we'll be listening to it on East Idaho News once they download it or upload it.
Yep.
Then the West trial has been on a break for the entire week. So they also come back starting Monday. Theirs, you cannot record or stream. It is not viewable, but audio is available through the court, but you have to listen to it live.
Literally. You miss a minute, you miss that minute. And that's...
Yeah, you can't, there's no rewind button.
Nothing.
Then, obviously, we have the lovely Letitia Stauch. This woman. And they are off today. They'll be off every Thursday. So it's a nice little break. But so next Thursday, though, we'll still have Valo Daybell and we'll still have West. So this, I was like, this is like the last Thursday of being able to really not have my mind in 30,000 directions. And look at, I'm already scattered. Imagine how this is going to look next week. This is going to be so fun.
You get to have all that true crime with your friends. You're going to have a ton of that.
So much true crime with my friends. Woo!
I can't wait to watch you digest Lori for this one. I'm ready. We've been through quite a couple kid trials now, and you know I know how you are with that. I want to watch you with Lori's whole trial situation.
These are all three of them have to do with kids too. What are the odds?
Yeah.
Kat says, I'm so over courts not being open to everyone, right? I don't know what, at this point in time, I don't even understand why we don't have just cameras in the courtroom on every single trial. It's 2023. Like, it's kind of crazy that we're still stuck in this weird, I don't know, you know, and the whole thing was, with Lori was that she wasn't going to get a fair trial, but they had cameras in the courtrooms going up to trial, you know, besides what the last like 4 or 5 hearings. And now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, she's already in trial. So the jury's already, once the jury's selected, there is no fair trial with a camera. Like, that's bullshit.
Right.
So, oh shoot, sorry, I'm already not doing G-rated stuff.
We're getting there.
Sarah Boone got postponed until July, which is kind of a positive. And I don't overly cover that case. I kind of just talk with Jen Lou or Britt about it. So
I would be super into her trial, though. I was actually kind of looking forward to that one.
I'll probably end up watching the trial if it's kind of on its own.
Just by seeing some of the interviews, it's already a crazy one. And I'm super thankful to the person. Shout out to whoever they are that moved the monitor so we can now see a good portion of Letitia. I enjoyed that. Thank you to that person, wherever you may be.
So, Letitia Stauch, right? Let's just start on. We'll just start in. And if you guys have seen me, I've popped up on a couple other panels and I've kind of shared my point of view, but I'm going to share it here anyway. And we're going to get Michelle's point of view. And then I did ask a couple ladies if they wanted to come up. I don't know if they're going to have a chance to, but they do have the link. So we may have some guests later. Mm-hmm. A couple more years you'll be able to watch them live on Netflix in 4K. You should be able to do that now.
Yes. We can no longer share our Netflix passwords anymore and whatnot. They just didn't give us the trials. Give us the goods, please.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Ramblin' Maroon. Welcome. True Crime Crazy.
True Crime Crazy. Taxpayers pay for what goes on in the courtroom, and especially appointed lawyers. Anyone should be able to see it.
Thank you.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm. Delana, do your thing, baby. We thank you for being here.
So we're gonna roll back. We'll roll back a couple days, and we'll start with opening statements. And I've kind of got most of my frustrations out about opening statements already I think on Allie's panel. But hi Mars. Netflix will cost like $40 a month by then.
Yep.
Yeah, but there won't be any cable. All these satellite and cable providers will be gone.
Yeah, they'll be toast.
Because everything will just be on a streaming service.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
so instead of paying like $200 for like DirecTV, you'll pay, $100 and some in varying streaming services.
Oh yeah, and subscriptions and things. Yeah, we're gonna. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she shouldn't be able to plug her ears in court. I agree. But
I agree. Yes.
Yeah, I think at least right now she's still in there, which is interesting. Hi, Peyton.
Hi,
Mars. Ramblin' Rome says, I haven't had TV in years. I know my husband he's like, do we have so many of the streaming services? What are we doing? And I'm like, I like the way that it records. I like to be able to see all my shows in one
I need
row.
my DVR. I cannot live without my DVR, and sorry.
Sucks. You pay $80 for Hulu? I didn't even know they had a plan that was that big.
Oh,
I paid like $6.99 on their middle plan.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was their middle plan.
My son actually pays for our Hulu. Like, he pays for like the little subscriptions and things for the house. So I didn't. He only complained really about Netflix. I'm surprised. Wow, $80 for Hulu?
That must be like an all-inclusive, like everything.
Yeah. Oh, we are going to be paying out. I mean, my cable bill every month, it includes the Wi-Fi and everything, but it could be an easy $300 each month. Easy.
So it's Hulu Live. So it's probably just like more like regular TV.
Yeah.
And then Mel says, I pay for Dish and all of the streaming. I love my DVR. See, I have DirecTV and then all of the streaming. Yeah. But my husband tried to push me to the other side.
Oh, hey, Ruth. We're happy you did. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks, Ruth.
I
appreciate that. And my Hulu is $80, but it includes recording. Ooh. Okay, so maybe I just need to do some more research and I can get him to convince me.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I could do that.
I can get a student discount for Hulu. I pay $2.99 a month. Well, I'm not technically a student anymore, so I don't know if I can. I done went and graduated.
She done went off and made it. Look at her.
Made it. Yeah. Look at me. In my college education.
I listen. Proud of that. You.
Oh, I'm very. My sweatshirt's like all like twisted and weird. I'm like not comfortable right now at all.
I'm going to tell you why. Watching this trial, listening to those calls, I have been distorted for days. I have not been sleeping right. I've been going to bed miserable, waking up that way, and that's not me. I don't. She's getting into my soul. I feel like, and it's just not good. It's not good. Like I feel things when I'm like listening to this trial and watching her. It's not good. It's not good at all. I missed half of opening statements. So by the time I actually got to where needed to be, it was like a. Jeez.
So I thought that the DA, Michael Allen, I thought he did a phenomenal job during opening statements.
He's doing great.
I was like, this dude, I'd never actually seen him prosecute any case. I mean, I've seen him in some of the pre-trial stuff for Letitia, but nothing major. And I just was like, that guy nailed it.
He did.
Like, what a good attorney.
And he's soft-spoken, but he's very clear, and he makes it easy for everyone to understand, and his re-questioning and he's doing a very good job at laying the groundwork, should I say. I feel like I say that for everyone.
Just like right off the bat, I was like, okay, he hit all the key points, everything that was important, right when it needed to be said. He didn't take the whole hour. He was just like, bada bing, bada boom. This is it. This is how it's going to be. This is what's going to happen. This is what she did. And this is what you can expect to see. And this is what we expect from you. Yeah. And I was like, boom, we're done. And then her attorney gets up there, or one of her attorneys gets up there. And I was like, what is this guy doing? So like the day of opening statements is when I went up on Allie's panel, and Alex Erickson, if you guys aren't subbed over there, make sure you go sub over there. Yeah. And then I was just like all in my feelings. I was like, this bitch. So I'm like, is this guy working for the prosecution? Does he really just not give a shit if she is found guilty? He's like, we tried. If you find her guilty, we tried.
No, it's that tactic. You know what? I know I cannot convince anyone to believe this woman. There's no way I could sit here right now after they just played a little bit of that recording and think that I'm going to use the whole strategy of make you like me. So if I become so relatable to you that I understand that there's no way in this world that you could ever, not see her not guilty, but floating back into, but she was insane at that time. And again, Michael Allen does a very, very good job in his opening statement by explaining what that is and the difference in that. And I think that's extra important to take out that time.
So what were your thoughts on the defense opening statement? I know mine, obviously. What are yours? I
got halfway through his and kind of the same thing. I wasn't prepared for that. But I also saw, I feel like I saw for what it is. It's just it's a tactic, and he's going to make them really, really like him to try and see past her.
But he was a douche canoe.
He is, but I think in his mind that he's likable that way, and it's just not. It's not working. Not for me, and I don't think
somebody on that legal team that's like, dude, that sucked. It tanked. Nobody liked it. Nobody believes you.
And because it wasn't him that actually, crossed Al. There was no real connection, with Michael Allen doing his portion of the opening statement, and he also did the cross on Al, who was, one of the biggest witnesses in this. It drew it more of a connection, and yeah, he confused me. I was not ready for that. I wasn't prepared for his angle with that at all.
Oh yeah, and then he was like, "I'm just gonna walk out." Oh wait, I can't do that. I can't quit right now.
About him,
like, that wasn't even like a good show.
Feel bad for me because this is my position. This is my position. I'm stuck here with this case, with this client. Oh, I get it. And, he also has to think of his future career. And I'm sure he's hated just for even having, to be her lawyer to begin with. Some people don't even understand how that process goes, that he doesn't raise his hand so much for this, right? In this case, he didn't. He's not working. He's working for the actual.
He still works for the state right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like he took this on pro bono or anything like that. He had to take this case.
Yeah. And I think he was assigned it. Mm-hmm. Hi, Bugsy. Hi, Allie. I was just talking about Bugsy. You. Hi, Dolly Bear.
Allie, love you. Hey, Dolly Bear.
Her defense is going through the motions. That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Her defense attorney looks like they're falling asleep. The judge said they technically could sleep, so they're kind of following through with that.
That's right.
And sure enough, they have more than one. They have a supplemented one that only has one, but they have more than one on their list. I have them over here somewhere. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys who's on the list. Let me see. If I didn't know he was the one defending her for murder, I would have had no clue what the hell he was talking about in his opening statement. Almost like interview for a play. Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
It didn't line up. His dramatics didn't actually come into a positive play whatsoever. No. They just everything fell very short of the mark. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have gotten the part in the play, even if it was for the backup of the backup.
Said that perfect. Yep, exactly. He made that connection terrible. He thought he was going to make, that relatable connection from him to that jury. It did not happen. I think one reporter in her notes had said that the jury barely made eye contact with him, but they did with Michael Allen.
So this was the other thing that I said on Allie's too, was he makes a comment to them about you won't even look me in the eyes, you think I'm basically evil incarnate. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like that. And I was like, wait a minute, is he purposely saying that? I'm hoping that maybe Jennifer can come up in a little bit, because I would be very curious if they were making eye contact, because he was saying that for the record.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? But were they making eye contact? Is he's trying to set it up he's not going to, he's just not getting a fair trial? Look, even from opening statements, they wouldn't look me in the eye.
And that they focused hard in opening statements on the questionnaire. And so, yeah, I absolutely agree with the angle that I feel like.
Hi, Yvette. Let me see. Another creator said it sounded so familiar she thought it was from a movie. Oh, interesting. Well, he should have practiced more, even if that's true. What is he, number 3, 4, or 5 defense attorneys? She blew through some. So she had the 2 ladies at the beginning, and I may be wrong, but she had the 2 ladies at the beginning. Then she had herself, because she's going to represent herself, and then I think that she got these 2. And
she would never be able to work with female attorneys ever.
That's the 2 she had, but I think she wanted to try to go with this whole insanity plea, and they were like, "No, we're not doing that."
Yep. And she can't. It's a lot harder to manipulate females. That's what she works off of, that one.
Let's see. Too many. Letitia's attorney should go try his luck with Boone. She's having a hard time keeping a lawyer. Well, so Boone is waiting now for an expert who's willing to testify for the pay to say that she was suffering from spousal abuse.
Oh no. Okay.
Hold on, my dog's scratching at the door. I'll be right back.
Well, Ursa, big Ursa. What am I saying? Oh, hey, Margaret, Scotland. Well, thank you for watching. Yes, justice for Gannon. Yes. I don't even want to skip too far ahead, but I can't help just when they played the snippets of those calls in opening statements, I just, it really prepares you for what they have lined up. And I could not help but to try and zone in on Al, and I can't really see Landon. So it's just, you could hear it in Michael Allen's voice. He could barely get it out. Like that was super hard for him. And, you know, I also think Al's doing a great job up there. He's very, he wants that record to be very, very clear. So when I heard her say on the phone call to Al, if I tell you the truth, will you still be on my side and support me? Yes, as she wanted her immunity. I mean, we're going to go through some of these calls, but I mean, wow, that's when the anger kicked in.
I've listened to those calls now so many times that and I get like physically pissed off every time I listen to them.
Like literally.
It irritates the shit out of me.
I was so
impressed with Al though. And I hate to say I'm not an Al fan because I know that doesn't make sense, but there's always been so many questions about Al and what Al, not his role in what happened to Gannon, but like his role in what led up to it. And I still have some of those questions, but I was still so impressed with the way that he handled being on the stand and everything that he did to ensure getting justice for Gannon.
Yes. He was not going to be tripped up in any way, shape, or form. He just wasn't.
No. I was so proud of his. He was very articulate. You could tell at the beginning he was very nervous and he was over speaking. But I also thought it was interesting that they kept calling each other Al and Mike, and the judge told them they had to call each other Mr. and Mr. and Mr.
Yeah. Even in the beginning when he started calling her Tisha, that was good.
So it's funny because they don't want Letitia called by name. They want her called the defendant, and that's typical in a courtroom anyway. Hi, Sleuth Mom. Let me see. Hi, Doreen. Letitia and Sarah Boone should be stuffed in suitcases.
Oh,
I'm not going to read that out loud, but I'm not going to disagree with you. But
Shpita, welcome. Thank you. She's been a member for 7 months.
How do you see that? I don't see that.
Oh, my phone. I have my phone on.
Oh.
If not, we can say it.
So when they called, so opening statements, defense, in my opinion, bombed. It was terrible. I didn't know what he was doing. He's either working secretly for the prosecution. He really doesn't, or he doesn't really give a shit about what happens at the end of this trial. He just wants it over. Or this was some tactic to try to hopefully get her an appeal, or some variation of all three. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, Shmita, no way. Aww. Oh. I literally cannot see Sonic and not think of Gannon. Yeah. If I see a Sonic stuffed animal, a Sonic toy, a Sonic anything, I literally think of Gannon.
And think about, like, he also, I think Al even said that he loved, was it Super Mario Brothers too?
Yep.
Like, they were his favorite. They were like our old school games. Like, to think that this kid in, the 2000s also love, that version of all the games in the world and all this new, updated stuff that they have. And I'm sure, Sonic and all that's been whatever, but he liked the old school stuff. Like, I thought that was so cool again. And I didn't realize.
Well, there are new versions. They come out with new Sonic games and new Mario games.
But you know what I mean? Like, Sonic and Mario are from our era. You know what I mean? Like,
they are.
They're us. Not like
Jordan.
Call of Duty's not us. Like.
I don't know. My husband loves Call of Duty.
Oh, so does my son. He could, and Grand Theft Auto and that crazy mess. Yeah. I love Sonic Mario too.
Yeah, Shelly, no court today. No court on Thursdays for the Letitia Stauch case. The judge has other obligations to attend to, so he will have no court any Thursday throughout the trial.
You know what I also didn't know? I didn't know that Gannon had ever, like he had posted one YouTube video. Like he actually, it made it up to YouTube. I never knew that. Like how
he did. He was going to post one every Friday though, and he only ever posted the one, but it's very cute.
Stop. See, that's how he was meant to be in our community who loves him so much.
So I wish that there was more, but you can hear his voice and he's playing with his friend and it's very cute.
Yeah. He's a sweet boy, man. He's so, you can see and you could tell just from everything, just a sweet, sweet boy. And
so what were your thoughts when they said, okay, call your first witness, and they said our first witness is Al Stauch?
I said, well, they're Al being the jump off is setting the stage for me that they have a ton of how do I want to say this? Clear cut, straight, factual evidence. Like they have everything that they absolutely need to nail her to the wall. And I think that's why Al went up there first, to set that emotional stage and foundation. And on top of being able to give light to Gannon, they could touch on this insanity thing from the beginning and work it all the way through and then recap it at the end. And who better than Al could do that? You know, who could attest to that? He's been with this woman. And I think they also wanted to get to clean up a lot of the mess, to make jury kind of forget about maybe Al having some responsibility in the fact that he did know that, you know, Letitia was off in some way, shape, or form, and maybe shouldn't have left his son with her, and da-da-da-da-da. So I think that's another reason why he went first.
Well, I always agree he should not have left his kids with her. I do agree with that. But my thought process on that is that he has to live with that every day for the rest of his life. So why I can't put that, I'm not going to put more on him. But
and I think
he knows he shouldn't have left his kids with her.
Exactly. And I think that's also why he's making such an effort to make sure that he does this in such a precise way that he could no way, shape, or form jeopardize her not going away for what she needs to be put away for. And I think that's what he feels like he now owes Gannon, or it's the least he can do for Gannon now, you know, and continue to keep his biological mother in a good light, because he continues to say how much Gannon was a mama's boy. And it's good to be reminded of that, you know, because not a lot of that was said even when we were doing the research for our, you know, presentation. And I'd like that Al keeps making sure he says that.
See, the biggest thing for me was when they asked, how did the pitch of her voice change at like any time? But yeah, he definitely lays a great foundation to start off with about, and you're right, I agree. Al was the perfect witness to do all the things that they needed to do right off the bat. Yeah. 1, an emotional tie to Gannon. 2, showing that Letitia knew the difference between right and wrong her whole life, or the whole time he knew her leading up to it. And then 3, what happened when Gannon went missing and how the lies started to unravel. It was the perfect first person, but I didn't expect it. I was shocked.
Neither. And I thought the softball point was very, very like that was good. When he said, you know, when Michael Allen re-questions him and says, you know, not only did she play on a softball team, she understood the rules. She, you know, she even was like assistant coach or whatever. So she helped enforce rules and, you know, explain, you know, like that was a great point. Like,
let me find these real quick. Hold on. You read some comments. I forgot I was going to say, somebody posted these in a Facebook group yesterday or the day before. I don't know. My days run together, so just forgive. But I forgot to put them on here, so let me grab them real quick.
I even forgot that they met through softball, and that's how, you know, Landon and Letitia had knew each other, and then Al and whatnot. I totally forgot about all of that.
Let me put these down.
He's so cute.
I know, he is so cute. But I'm going to pull these up real quick so you guys can see them, because I didn't have these before. So we knew that they had met through softball, but what I found to be really good to clarify was there's been a lot of speculation, and I have speculated a lot that you know, that he left Landon for Letitia. What we did learn in the trial was that that's not necessarily the truth. Why do I have just random letters like popping up under where that I typed? I didn't mean to hit W. I don't know why the heck that's in there. Sorry, guys. That they were already going through a divorce, or already separated, and then they were going to divorce before he started dating Tisha, which I thought not a necessary question to have on the stand, but I think it was good for the point of public opinion. I'm downloading these pictures real quick so that I can show them.
Take your time, baby.
So in a couple of the groups, there's people who obviously knew Letitia before, and there was one post from a couple days ago that the lady was talking about that they were actually, they had been friends and so on and so forth. She was fairly normal, didn't really have any issues with her. But she always did lie, but they didn't think that it was that big of a deal because it was always like white lies. Some of it was kind of like, why are you lying about it? But it was just always kind of part of who she was. Oh, there she is right there. And then go over the other one. Which one's that one? That's nope, this is a different one. So somebody who played softball with her posted all these pictures from the softball team. There she is.
Yeah, like look, she looks sane there.
Well, I mean, she just doesn't look like the lady from The Ring.
No.
There she is there.
It just always blows my mind when you see pictures like this because you just go, what went wrong? Because I know we're not buying the insanity deal. So, like, what went wrong? Like, where in your evil mind?
In my opinion, I think she always had a temper.
For sure.
I think that she always had a temper, and I will stick with the fact that I do think that she lost her temper and hurt him, and then everything else was to cover up the fact that she was abusive.
Yep. And she's so used to using her manipulation to get her out of shit, especially with Al, and this was not happening in this situation at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just said he talked to his mom about her, and she's an NP.
But that she made similar comments to him, like the ones she was Googling at that point, and he should have sought out other care for his children. Yep. All juries should be allowed to ask questions, in my opinion. I think so too. I love the fact that they get to ask questions.
Same.
They didn't actually utilize that until yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. I think the police officer, right? Or the sheriff, I'm sorry. Did they end it with yesterday?
It was I don't know if he was I don't know. He might have been a sheriff. I think he might have been a sheriff. He was the one that went into the house and had the body cam on.
Yes.
And they do ask him questions.
Yeah. I thought that was so cool.
If not out of the normal things to do here in UK, you should be able to lean on your wife to help out with things. Well,
I agree.
I was surprised that Al said he talked to his mom about her and she's an NP. So this I found interesting too. So during Al's cross-examination, the defense attorney asked him, like, do you remember having a conversation with your mom and your mom thinking that something was basically mentally off with Letitia and that she probably needed to be on medication? And he says he did have this conversation with her, but what I found more interesting was he actually said when he was on direct that he did not think that she had any mental illness. He did not know of any type of mental illness. But she says she's been diagnosed bipolar for many years. So I don't know. I'm confused on that.
Now that's
purposely trying to make it so that the defense didn't have any more on the situation, probably.
I think he was trying to ski through the whole mental part as much as he could. And I think the defense could have went in way harder on that. And they didn't. They touched on what they touched on. That was it. And I mean, think of us in this situation. And I know most of us, there's no way Al did not. I mean, dude, you knew she was batshit crazy somewhere. You knew this was not the first time she had lost her mind on Gannon. This was just the time that she brought it all the way there. There's no way. There's just no way. And I think that was big for the defense, or it should have been big for the defense, and it wasn't.
No, well, they don't seem to care too much. Maybe they're just, and I think that some people that were talking earlier in the chat said, like, they're just banking on the insanity, which they are, because obviously she's admitted that she did it. And so they're like, we'll do our best to get you not guilty by reason of insanity, but it kind of is what it is. Like he said in the opening statement, if you find her guilty, we tried.
We tried.
I don't know. I didn't actually even pay attention to that, Jordan. I apologize. I didn't even look. I looked through the pictures to just find her. I think that some may have been. Let me look again.
Well,
all female. This one's male and female.
I was about to say, because didn't Al play for one of the teams too? And that's another way
they probably played in the same area too. He said that he knew of her, but they'd never actually, they didn't interact really. Ooh, looky who's here. Hi,
Hello.
Sleuth Mom.
There she is. How are you?
I think she's muted.
Of course I'm muted, right? How are you guys?
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me.
No,
oh, heck yeah. Thanks for coming. I was like, Michelle was even like, Sleuth Mom probably needs a break.
Yeah, she needs time.
You know how it is, though. You like never really take a break, right?
Right.
There's no sleep. So especially right now, there's no sleep in the true crime world right now.
Absolutely.
Roxanne.
So what are your thoughts so far in what we're only doing this for 3 days now? Oh my goodness, look at it. Bada bing, bada boom. They come in droves.
Here we go.
Lovely Jennifer, you're here too.
I am here. I'm trying to make sure. Let me close my YouTube. Okay.
Hey, love. How are you?
Good morning.
So thankful that you guys both came.
Yes. I'm ready for both of these perspectives.
Yes. So I was asking so far 3 days in, how do you feel, Sleuth Mom?
I don't understand how this could possibly take 6 weeks.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like out of all of the witnesses, sorry, am I giving feedback?
Do we have an echo? I don't know who it is that has an echo. Somebody has an echo. Let me see.
I think Jen was shutting off her YouTube.
All right. Go ahead and talk now. Shoot. Talk now.
Yep. Are we good now?
Okay.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think Jennifer's just got an echo. I muted her real quick.
Okay. But I think honestly, with sorry, I keep hearing it, but I'm watching the mute too, so I'm like, okay. I think with this, like Al laid the foundation for everything that they're gonna need. That like it seemed like they were asking him specific questions. You know, they asked him about the luggage, they asked him about the different things in the calls and things like that, that really just laid the foundation for, I think, all of the future witnesses that are to come.
You said that perfectly, Sleuth Mom. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
I thought he was a perfect first witness. I just didn't expect it.
Yeah, didn't expect it at all, but definitely did a great job.
I absolutely loved how he clapped back at the defense for every single question. They're like, did you say blah, blah, blah? And he's like, I don't know. Did I say that?
No. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to make you double back for every time you want to put me through each statement from every interview that you know I don't recall. So, okay, fine. And then I want my timestamp as well. And if not, I will correct it. Because he made more corrections about date and time than he should have had to.
Absolutely. And it seemed like the defense was not prepared to cross-examine him.
Yep.
And it's like, you listened to 2 days worth of calls. Like, weren't you taking notes? Weren't you keeping track of everything that was being said? Because even on the cross, whenever Mike Allen stood back up and or the redirect, whatever they call it, and he stood back up and tried to redirect everything, he had a list. He went down through each little part. And it's like, I just feel like the defense is, I don't know. I hate to say it. Are they going to go for an inadequate counsel appeal at the end of this?
Because Mike Allen's doing a great job of keeping everything very specific, laid out, broken down. Even like you said, he went right down that list of his all of his redirect questions. And it just he does it in such a very organized way that it's just clear and cut to understand. I don't know. He's doing a really good job.
I did appreciate when he was like, do you have the time? Do you have that somewhere?
Yeah.
And it reminded me of Murdoch when Murdoch was like, I'm not questioning what you said. If you got that, then that's what I said. But Al wasn't going to let that go. He was like, do you have it? And then when he asked another question and he was like, well, do you have that one? And so then the defense attorney is sitting there going through all of his paperwork, He finds the second one. He's like, okay, Al goes, that was the second one. What about the first?
He's very specific and very clear. Yep. This is his fight for Gannon, and
so Jennifer, do you have an echo still, or you think you're okay? You want to try it?
I should be okay now. How's it working?
Sounds good to me. So I know that you went to the opening statements, so you were actually sitting there. Tell us how that went.
The opening statements were tough. One of the reasons I had such a hard time is because I've been to the pretrial hearings and I've seen Albert in person and I've seen his new wife in person and I've seen Letitia in person, but Monday was the first day that I saw Gannon's mom in person,
Ooh.
and the emotions were, of course, palpable. I mean, you could just feel it, and one of the I don't know what adjective to use. Throughout, so I was there all day yesterday as well, and it's difficult. Gannon's mom and dad do not acknowledge each other's existence. Um, Now, I did notice that Albert, while on the stand, tried to be very respectful anytime, the topic of Landon came up. But they don't even look at each other in the courtroom.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Good to know.
So I have a question about the opening statements, Jennifer. When you were there with the defense doing the opening statement, and he makes the comment to the jury that, like, basically I'm devil incarnate and you guys won't even make eye contact with me.
Oh, yeah, that was absolute bullshit. Oh, Teresa. So I was watching the jury, and I assure you that every single one of them, alternates included, everyone was absolutely focused on him while he was speaking. But see, when he said it, and then I'm looking at him like, okay, I actually see like 18 people making eye contact with you right now, but okay, we'll go with that. The thing is that, they didn't know if the person next to them was making eye contact, but I assure you every one of them was making eye contact with him when he said that.
So did the other jurors look around at each other to see if anybody wasn't making eye contact?
Yeah, there was a little bit of that, but then they focused right back on him. It's like yesterday during when they were playing the body cam footage yesterday, suddenly Letitia was really involved with like talking to her attorneys.
Yes.
And I kept thinking in my mind, just, sitting in back of the courtroom, because of course I'm trying to, I'm drawn to watch her and her attorneys, but then it just, I kept telling myself, no, this is a distraction. Focus on the screen.
I love that we have you here to get this because you're physically in that courtroom. Love it.
I felt like her, whispering with her attorneys while that body cam was playing. I felt like that was on purpose. And so I just tried so hard to ignore her so that I could focus on watching the body camera footage. Now, were you guys able to see any part of the evidence screens or no?
So a little bit, and
Yeah,
Sleuth actually went and posted this morning I'll pull it up. Is it okay if I play it real quick, Sleuth Mom?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'll show you what we could see. And I was actually going to ask you, Sleuth Mom, so when and we're kind of skipping ahead a day, but that's okay. So when the gentleman from that found the suitcase, when he was on the stand, you could see the pictures behind him.
Right.
Were they showing?
Interesting. Okay.
Were they showing what I think they were showing?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think they were showing I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask Jennifer to confirm, but I think they did show like the suitcase. At first, they showed the Google Earth area of everything, but I think they did show the suitcase because I noticed that Albert and Landon both left the courtroom before they came to testify about that stuff.
No, they didn't actually.
They were in there still.
Where were they?
People here, the friends, they were.
You couldn't see them on the camera.
So Landon was not in the room, but what Albert did, and he was sitting next to his new wife, Melissa, and then on his left was his uncle, Jeff, and then just to the right of Melissa was his mother. And they were in the second row behind the prosecution. But so basically, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but the defense attorney, it was Dave Young. he turned around and looked in that direction and gave a nod to the advocate that's sitting with all of them. And that nod was to let her know that these photographs were about to happen. And so in that moment, now Landon was out of the room, but in that moment, all four of them, so it was Albert, Melissa, and I believe one of Melissa's older children was there, and then Uncle Jeff and Albert's mom, they all bowed their heads to look down, and they stayed in that position until that photograph was off the screen.
Really? Because I don't even see him sitting there.
I was gonna say we like zoomed in and we're looking around the courtroom. Because it's like they shut off the camera right before this, and then they came back from the break. And whenever they came back from the break, there was very few people in the courtroom.
Yeah, see, Landon just didn't come back from that break, but she did come back after. And during that first break, so the first break of the day, I had gone outside. I'm still a cigarette smoker. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. And so I had gone outside to smoke a cigarette, and Landon was out there. And man, she gave me a hug, and she commented about my dress and about my fingernails because, so I've got a blue bag and I've got my fingernails are painted blue, and I was wearing like a black dress with blue prints on it. And she was just very nice about it, and she just acknowledged what I was wearing and like that she knew why I was wearing it. And we had like a little bit of chit chat, and I talked to her about how we could both get arrested and get thrown into jail for the weekend.
This is why I like you, Jen. There you go. Do it, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was all about it. We joked about it,
Oh.
And I just told her, I was like, you are so strong. And it was, it was surreal. It was surreal. And so we're getting ready to go back inside, and she's getting ready to walk away, and she like touches my arm, and she said, "I love you, by the way."
Aww.
Oh, Jen, that is so,
I don't know how, but I held my shit together.
Yeah, like.
But the second that woman went inside the courtroom, I effing lost it. I just sat there and cried right down my sunglasses. I know that they watch YouTube, and I know that she pays attention to this kind of stuff and all of that, but it was just the way, it was not in passing. Like, she made sure to make eye contact with me, and she said, "I love you, by the way." And
damn,
it was
that couldn't have been.
It was a lot.
It was probably a combination of feelings, because to have that be said to you by Gannon's mother, and you are so connected to this case and to Gannon and to the family, you have to be.
Well, I guess what happened in that moment. Okay, so as soon as she walked inside, I just lost it, and I just cried like a baby. And it was fine. I was on the side of the building. Nobody could see me. I had my moment, right? And so I'm just standing there just bawling because, nobody's there to see me doing it. So I can do it. But I guess what really struck me in that moment is I felt so ridiculous that I'm sitting here worried about whether or not I'm going to be able to make it through this trial. Like, I'm worried about my emotions and my feelings and it just hit me like, really? Get your shit together, woman. That's what I said to myself. Get your shit together, woman. That's Gannon's mom. And you're worried about if you can handle it? Shut the F up. and from that moment on, I was okay. And I even was able to sit through the photograph of Gannon outside the suitcase.
So they did show that?
Yes.
Jen, do you feel like that? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I think the judge was trying to get it so that we could see the camera a little bit better, but they were talking about the fact that if they put it across the front to show the whole screen, they would have to run a cord across the front, and they were worried about the tripping hazard. And so
Yeah, I think the biggest concern. So the witness stand is right by the jury box, and I think the biggest concern is that he's afraid they're going to get a jury member on camera. But I
Right.
did hear him talking about the trip hazard too.
yes, I think we kind of got what we can basically for the TV part of it, which I'm grateful for the little bit that we have, being
Yes.
on the
So
outside.
this is kind of a good indicator of like what we could actually see from here. Here's, and this is only one little window. So like I screenshotted this and had to zoom in on this part, but I found it very important because you can clearly see the blanket that they were
Oh
talking
yeah,
about and the blanket that
yeah,
was on Gannon that morning when she sent Al the text message of Gannon in bed.
right.
And then you could also see, let me see if I can pull up the other one real quick. Oh, that one's not as good. Hold on. Oh, I guess I don't have one that's that good of it. I'll show it anyway. The pillow, you could only see this corner of the pillow from the screen from where we could see it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it was hard seeing those little shark prints.
Yeah. So this is, let me get rid of this one real quick. Hold on. So this is Sleuth Mom's channel right here. And so she zoomed in on the body cam. So this is the same monitor that I was just showing you in the pictures, but you can see, we can only kind of tell like the bottom corner.
Right. But you could hear it though, you had the audio.
We have the audio. Yeah, we can hear it, but you can only see like this little bits and pieces. So
Can you go to the part where they're in the utility room? Because I'm curious if Jennifer can tell us where exactly the green suitcase is, because he says that you can see it on the monitor, like, and that he caught it on the whenever he was watching it back.
Was it in the room?
I didn't see the green suitcase.
Because all he says is he remembers a large suitcase.
There were suitcases, but I don't think the suitcase was visible. No.
Okay, because I thought she specifically asked him if he recalled seeing the suitcase, and if he took notice of the suitcase, and he said no, but I see it now that I'm watching this back.
I thought he just said that he didn't remember seeing anything then, but we'll have to listen to it again. But I think he said like, I remember seeing suitcases, and then they correct him and they're like, no, did you specifically see a large suitcase? He's like, yeah, there was a large suitcase. But like nobody says, did you see a green suitcase? Did you see a brown suitcase?
True.
Right. They were really focused on all the boxes that were stacked up to the right on the photo.
I don't really know why.
I think that what they're trying to say is that might have been where the suitcase was. I mean, they haven't said that yet, but
Mike Allen said in the opening that, she had kept him in the utility room before taking him out.
So I don't know why we wouldn't be able to see it then. We'll have to look at it. They'll end up releasing this stuff when trial's over. So this is Gannon's room. It's right here. It's kind of blurry. Trying to get a good still shot of it. This is his room right here.
Yeah, another thing I was surprised by is that I didn't realize that they actually opened up the hatch of Letitia's Tiguan in the garage. I thought that he glanced in there and didn't really see anything.
He did open it?
Oh yeah, he opened the back while she was in the garage. Yeah. You can hear it opening. Yeah.
The suitcase wasn't in there?
No, absolutely not. But I remember from the preliminary hearing that there was some issue about him feeling bad because he didn't look closer. But then yesterday I watched them.
The reporter said that he couldn't tell. I mean, it didn't. I mean, the reporter who was tweeting for us said that he couldn't tell if the suitcase was in there or not. And the officer said that he couldn't recall if he seen it in there or not.
But I watched him open up the back hatch of the Tiguan and look in there and then close it back down, because at that moment Letitia came out and she was looking for her ID, which was in the car.
I did hear that, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you got a cart. Yeah.
So I was wondering, and Sleuth Mom, you brought this up on your channel the other day about how you haven't been able to let go of the fact that she keeps bringing up that side gate. And then in the testimony, they're talking about the side gate and that there was a carpet over there, and that carpet that or was it one of the phone calls? And she talks about that he stepped on the carpet and got blood on it. And so now I'm like, is there a carpet that's missing from this side gate area? And did she put the suitcase over there? What was over there that would have got
wow. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like maybe like a throw type carpet, you mean? Like a small one? It's possible. Very possible.
Or, you know, like a welcome mat carpet, you know what I mean? Like a something, you know what I'm saying? Like that's right. That's just in that area. I don't know. I just didn't, when you had brought up the fact that you couldn't let go of the side gate, and I was like, I never really thought about the side gate. And you're like, she had to have been thinking something, otherwise she wouldn't have talked about it so much.
Right.
And then that came up in the testimony, and I was like, wait a minute. Why would there be blood over there?
Fluffy Bunny says she said it was the garage rug that got blood on it, and she threw it away. Where you step into the garage.
We lost Crime Curious. Hopefully she'll come back. Oh, where you step into the garage. Okay, so it wasn't out by that gate. I don't know why I thought that she was talking about that he went that way and got blood on the carpet by the gate. I'll have to re-listen.
Whenever the person who was there for the cleanup, like with the family, the one who told me about the switch being found, whenever she went in there and they were cleaning, she said that there was a trail of blood that led from that utility room out to the garage. And so there's a chance that if there was an area rug or something going towards the garage, that would make sense that she got rid of it.
Okay, let me go over here. I know you've already seen this part, but I haven't shown it here yet, so I'll show it real quick here, so you guys can get a better layout of the house, and then hopefully Jennifer can come back too, so we can ask her some more questions. So this is the house, and this is the upper level, so it's like the ground level, and then the lower level is like a redone basement, but it has a couple bedrooms and so on and so forth. So this is from this angle, so you can go down the stairs right here. This is Lena's bedroom over here upstairs, which was Gannon's old bedroom. No, Crime Curious, come back.
Yeah, it's okay. When you get it together, fix it, come back up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what you can see in the courtroom is so important.
Yes.
Like we can't see the jury. We can't see the TV behind their head. We can't, so that is all so important to find out about.
And I'm great to have that. It was great to have that answer too, with the defense saying, that they wouldn't look him in the eye and here they actually are.
Knew they were. So this is the hallway bathroom that's upstairs. That's back in Lena's room. Go back into the living room, and then here's the kitchen. So it's this little area right here. It's all very open. The backyard. So he was talking about that there's the fence around the backyard. That's the backyard. And then so this door right here actually leads to the laundry room, but they don't have a picture of the laundry room, so I couldn't add it. So it goes to the laundry room, and then there's a door right here that actually goes out to the garage. So just know when you're going through this door, you're actually going through the laundry room to the garage. So this is the garage. This is where all of Al's like woodworking, and the photo where you can see from outside the garage, it has all the bikes, and there's like 3 pieces of wood, like 2x4s that are laying like here, the ones that she refers to saying that she flipped them upside down after Gannon cut his foot or whatever, because she wasn't, he would be really mad if, Al would be really mad if they'd gotten anything on his wood. This is where the Tiguan was parked the night that Gannon went missing, and then this is where Letitia tells Harley to park her white Jetta after she goes to hide the Tiguan. Oh, hold on. I forgot to show you Al and Letitia's room. So the master bedroom's up here, and then their master bathroom. master closet, which is what he refers to all of her clothes being in, and that they took pictures of the closet like after she had taken most of her stuff out. That's their shower and their bathtub. And then we'll go downstairs. So this is where there was a white pedestal stand right here that we believe the candle was sitting on. There was the couch that was right here in this area. And then the burn on the rug is actually right here. You don't see it in this picture, obviously, but it would have been right here. And then the wax spilled onto the couch. So Gannon was right here. Now Gannon's bedroom is, if you go down this little tiny hallway right here and you make a right, that's Gannon's room. So this is where his bed was. This is the corner that they ended up cutting out that had blood that had seeped through from the mattress, through the carpet, down into the actual cement. And then this door right here, straight in front, is the utility room. They call it the storage room. This is the one that we were kind of trying to figure out. They had suitcases or the totes and those cardboard boxes. This is that room. So it's just an unfinished like utility room. So they had stuff in here. This is also where the spare carpet pieces were. There's a bathroom downstairs, same as the bathroom upstairs. And then there's Harley's bedroom is also downstairs. You can see Harley's closet. So the trail that Sleuth Mom was just talking about goes from, this is Gannon's room, this is the utility room, goes through here, upstairs, and then you can see it go from the lower level, going this way to the right, over here, out through the garage. That's where the trail of blood went, all the way from Gannon's room, the utility room, up the stairs, and then out into the garage.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a lot of blood. It was like, drops of blood that she tried to clean up, obviously. But you could see them in the carpet. It was like a faint pink, according to the person who told me about it.
So did they notice the blood? Or was it were they told about it because of the Blue Star?
Like the Blue Star. The Blue Star brought it to their attention whenever they were looking for evidence. But
So
the family, once they were cleaning up and getting stuff, like they could see it whenever you really looked in some areas.
Jeez. So Al does say, which I thought Letitia actually left on the night of the 28th. But he says she actually stayed in the house that night and he slept on the couch and she's texting him from the bedroom, which is crazy to me because why isn't he sleeping in the bedroom with his wife when he has a house full of people and they probably need more room? Like he already knew. He knew. He wasn't even going to sleep with her that night.
Something in, outside of all the craziness that was already going on, but in his gut and in his heart, that's his son. And this is now his wife. Something had to be taken over, especially remember, we didn't live this life with them. He did though. So there had to be, he had to be reliving all the other outbursts that he actually witnessed and was a part of or whatever. And then he had to be thinking what happened this time. I could only imagine. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to sleep next to her either.
So this is Gannon and Lena laying on the couch. And you see that blanket, the blue blanket. So the blue blanket is actually on the floor. And then on the bottom of this picture on the right, you can see the bottom of that pedestal. And then you see the candle wax on the couch. And then the candle spilled. And a lot of people did talk about this Sleuth Investigates. Like, was this, like, there's a pink tint to it. But is that just from the wax, or was there actually blood? I don't know. Sleuth Mom, did you ever hear one way or the other?
No, I didn't actually.
See, like this, there's like that pinkish.
It's crazy to me, though, that in this call, she's alleging that the fire was big enough that he burned both of his arms and she burnt herself.
ridiculous she is, and just her whole. Clearly, she is just used to telling Al whatever, because I don't even know how, in any type of mind frame that she was in, to think that would even. It doesn't even make sense. And then we're just going off of one of her stories here, but the fire one, that one probably. It was so bad they had to run out the house, but she only drove down the street or around the block. It just nothing made sense. It just
No, that doesn't make any sense.
None
Make
at all.
any sense. Well, she had to come up with a reason she got rid of those blankets. So the fire, remember, because she keeps talking about she threw the blankets on him and then she like jumps on him. And there's a lot of jumping going on in her stories. Everybody jumps.
And this must have been, when she maybe I killed Gannon then when I jumped on him so hard because I was so worried about him, but I was grabbing Lane at the same time.
That was wrong. I'm sorry. That was the wrong choice.
Right. As you're dying the fire out on him, as you're punching him from now what we know, stabbing, shooting. The amount of ways she took to do what she did to Gannon. I can't even get it out.
Brandy says, I love Sleuth Mom. She's so incredibly sweet and has a soothing voice. I loved hearing her baby girl yesterday with the jokes. It made my day.
Oh. Sleuth Mom is the mom. She is momming all day, all night, and still covering all these kids and their cases. And
you do a lot, Sleuth Mom. I don't know how you do it all. You must have more hours in your day than me. That's the only excuse I can come up with.
You know what? Monday is going to be extremely interesting because we have the first day of soccer. And so I'm going to be streaming the trial for the last 2 hours from the soccer field. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. We will see how that goes.
Wow. That is a multitasking mama for sure.
Her jokes are terrible. But I guess that's what you get from a 4-year-old though, right? She's just trying to come up with whatever she can.
That's so cute.
My 6-year-old tells the worst knock-knock jokes. When he says knock-knock, I just dread. I dread what's coming.
He's the cutest. Stop it.
But it's just always something that I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself into by saying who's there? You never know what you're going to get. Yeah. Because she rolled him up in the blanket.
Never know what you're going to get. Picture that while you're on a live stream with 250 people in the audience. And I'm like, oh God, what is the punchline of this joke about to be? What is she about to say? Mommy eats for breakfast. Where are we going with this? Uh-oh.
I think that at least it's a girl, because I swear my boys are just so much weirder. Do you feel that way? I don't know.
That's true, because my son is he's definitely weird.
It turns into something about butts or farts or whatever. And I'm like,
boys will tell you a story about boogers where they, a little girl, she'll expose whatever was said at the dinner table. They're very different that way, but it's super cute. Can't help it.
So I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to ask. I'm like, do I have to? Is this mandatory mom stuff? Because I don't want to do it.
I can promise you when they get older that don't even ask when the jokes start. I'm just going to tell you now. They're way cuter now.
Boy moms. Yep, that's right. Boy moms.
Boy moms.
Okay, and the other thing I was going to show was Jennifer had sent me the witness list. So let me pull those up so we can talk about those. So we know kind of what's coming. Obviously, the people that are on the list do not have to be called. I did hear rumor that Landon is not testifying. Did you hear that? Or was that it could just be total rumor?
I didn't hear that at all.
I didn't hear that. So I don't know. Honestly, I wonder if Crime Curious knows, since she was able to talk to her.
Oh, yeah.
If they talked about that at all. But I don't know if, that sounded like a pretty brief conversation. So I don't know if it would actually happen. But
they got a whole plan to go
sneak that in there at some point. Jennifer, hey, are you going to be getting on the stand?
Yeah, you're going to be taking a stand. Do you happen to know when, so I can make sure I'm here?
I'm here for this, please.
So let's see how many of these people we actually know, and if we can name who they are. So this is just the regular witnesses. So this is people. A lot of these people were actually in Facebook groups and so on and so forth. So Brenda, that's Aunt Brenda, which is actually I think her mom's cousin. But they call her Aunt Brenda. Okay. Oh, this was another big thing that I learned, or maybe he was wrong, but he said that I didn't know her mom was in Colorado, that Letitia's mom was in Colorado when they were moving the stuff out. He says that her mom was there. I thought it was Brenda.
I always thought that it was her aunt too. Maybe did her aunt and her mom go?
I never heard her mom being there.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
You know what? No, you know what though? Okay, I know why.
brother.
Actually, she didn't grow up with Deborah Locklear, her mom. She only
Okay,
lived with
so I
her for
thought
the
he was
first
gonna
couple
go
years
that
of her
route,
life,
too.
and she lived with Aunt Brenda, and
That's
so that's why she
But
probably
they
calls her
asked her
mom.
name. I thought that too. I
Did
was like,
they?
wait a minute. Brenda raised her, but they ask, and he's like, Deborah, I don't remember her last name or how to say her last name.
Wow.
And I was like,
Wow.
no. And Brenda was there. Yeah, I thought that was crazy. Now, Brooke, I don't know who Brooke is. Do you know Brooke?
No.
Celeste, Adam?
What's Brooke's last name, Tay? Can't see.
Adam Mac? Oh, you can't see that? Oh, hold on. I'll make it bigger.
Thank
Can you see it now? No, you guys probably still can't see it.
No.
I'm like,
Um,
I'm like, oh man, I don't have my glasses sitting here.
okay, hold on. I'm going to zoom in.
here we go.
You can see it now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So
Brooke Adam.
I don't know who Brooke is. I don't know who Celeste is, and I don't know who Adam is.
Brooke semi sounds familiar. I just can't place her. I feel like she's in my notes somewhere, and I don't know why.
I feel like some of these people are going to be people that T was texting with right afterwards.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I didn't see babysitter on here, though. All right, hold on. We'll go through. Okay, so yeah, Adam, I don't know who that is. Amy is Amy Lowry, but that's not the stepsister Amy because she's down here. Amy Lowry. So I don't know who this is. It has to be somebody else that's related somehow. Because, and then I don't know who Jamie is. I don't know who Cynthia is.
The other Amy still has Lowry as her last name, right?
But it's spelled different. A-I-M-E-E. And this is the one who sold life insurance.
Oh, okay. The other Amy.
So then you have, this is, Brandon is, I believe, Landon's brother.
Why do I remember in the newspaper articles? Is Amy her stepsister?
Amy Lowry's her stepsister, yeah.
Amy, okay.
But not, that's why I said I don't know who this Amy is, though.
Maybe that's where I'm getting Brooke from. Hold on a second. There's another stepsister.
Then I don't know who Brett is. I don't know who Luke is. Courtney. I don't know any of these people. Sleuth Mom, if you know any of these people, let me know. Sean Drake. That name sounds familiar, but I don't know. Corky, they don't have court on Thursdays, so they'll be back tomorrow. So they have court Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Roderick Drayton is the neighbor with the security camera. We know that one. We've all watched that video, I think.
Right.
Jamie, I don't know who that is. Is Quincy Brown on there? Sleuths investigates. You funny. That would be interesting. It'd be interesting if the defense called him.
Yeah.
This could be. It could be friends' parents. I don't know. I don't know who all these people are. Lee Egan is the reporter for Crime Online. That she told that she had the lie detector test.
Wasn't Spencer supposed to?
He's on here too.
Is he on there?
I'm just going through to see who I know or if you guys know.
Do we know if Harley's actually testifying?
No, we don't know if any of these people are actually testifying until they take the stand.
But like, was there any chitter chatter of any sort?
Just that Michael Allen during his opening statement says that you will hear from Harley who blah, blah, blah.
About her mother's
Said that.
I have a feeling that a lot of these people are going to end up being character witnesses about T and her conversations with them from the time she did this until they arrested her.
Would
Right.
make sense. Because they can
I know
back up all that
Amy's,
state of
I
mind
think,
then.
is one of the Amy's is, I think, the one that she was staying with in North Carolina. I just can't remember her last name.
Oh. Interesting. Okay, so then we have Landon. She's on the list. Leslie Hicks is that Aunt Leslie? I think that's actually her her name. I'm not 100% though, so don't quote me on that. Then Landon, and then Brian Honeywell. That I don't know who that is. Greg Harley is there. Josh Johnson. And here's another, Amy Lang. Is that the Amy she was staying with? Because that name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I think that's her, because
so.
that's I'm almost positive that that's the friend that kept standing up for her, and was that she went and stayed with in South Carolina.
That sounds right in my memory bank. And then Deborah Locklear, which is Letitia's mom. Katrina Locklear, which I don't know if that's a sister.
I don't think so.
Is that Juju? I don't know her real name, so I don't know who that one is, but it's obviously a relative with the last name. Amy Lowry, that's the stepsister. Dakota Locklear Lowry, that's the brother, right? That's Letitia's brother.
Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm.
And then Ian and Nicole is interesting because Ian and Nicole are a couple that were friends with Letitia and Al, and also how Al met Heather, the girl he was dating, rumored to have been dating while he was still married to Letitia, but was dating directly after all of this. That's how he met them.
You think there was actually an affair now, though, after hearing him be on the stand? Because I'm thinking that the defense would have, pulled that up, don't you?
Well, the only reason I don't think that they did is because nothing of that comes up on direct. And so I'm wondering if that's going to be something that may come up later with one of these guys.
Gotcha. Can they only ask questions that were addressed during the direct?
Every state is different, and I didn't look up Colorado. Sometimes it's only the same. Sometimes that's only on redirect. Depending on the state, it varies, and I didn't look up. Typically, it's you can only ask what is asked during the other person's test or direct. So the defense can only ask for direct, and then on redirect they can only ask about what the defense asked, and then on recross they can only ask what the prosecution asked on direct. Does that make sense? So it kind of narrows down the question.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense.
In South Carolina, it's not like that. And in Murdoch, you can ask whatever the heck you want on your direct and your cross, but once you redirect, you can only ask about what was brought up, and then the recross is only about what was brought up on redirect. So you can ask whatever the heck you want. I know. So
I mean, we know Heather was a person at some point because she was at the memorial, right? So we know that for a fact, right? I just don't know if it was during tea. And that's what I would think. Even the rumors about, so the prosecution definitely brought up the fact that he was on these flights and he had to travel out and different things like that. And the Facebook rumor was, he left early with the intentions to go meet up with Heather. But then again, does that backfire for the defense if they do bring that up because it shows motive and maybe they wanted to avoid it?
Yeah, very good point. Corky had also said, remember Petco employees and things like that and places that she had worked? Maybe those are some on the list too.
These are the lay people, so I don't know if they're on this list. Hold on, that's law enforcement. That's the sheriff's office. That's the police. Here's your experts. Oh, so it could be. I'd have to pull up the other list. Hold on, because it actually on the other list, but I don't want to show it because I guess it does have a bunch of addresses of people. They didn't redact it. Let me pull it up though, because it does say if they're from Petco.
Hey, blessings to all.
The places that she went, the car wash people, and so on and so forth. So let me keep going through.
Mom detective. How are you guys?
Nicole Mobley. Now that name sounds very familiar, Sleuth Mom. Do you recognize that name?
I do. I just don't know why.
It does sound very familiar. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna look for the other one.
Listen, we background checked almost the entire witness list whenever it originally came out. And so many of these names, I recognize them. I just can't remember why they were important. Right. Do you know what I mean? Right. I hate that this is drug on 3 years because my files are all buried in old devices at this point. And so to go through stuff is such a pain.
I just went to check that other name too, and I did the same exact thing. I went to one of the things that I saved like in a file, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even access the file. The file's so old. I'm like, this is just crazy.
Right, and then how many of these names do we recognize from reading the other witness list?
Yeah, you're right. Yes.
And now I got to find the other witness list because I don't even know.
There are quite a few that are very familiar but can't place them.
Let me see if this is it. Why isn't that wanting to open?
Hey Shay, how are you, babe?
Let me see. I know I have it in here. I really wish I had done a better job. Like, I feel like I'm so organized, and then I look in my Google files and I'm like, gosh, these are a disaster.
No, you are. You're a lot more organized now, but it's just a lot of your back stuff that, you know.
I have like 2 folders on my computer and everything gets saved into them. So every time I have to go through, I'm like, no. And then I'll like make folders for a case and I'll save stuff in there and then something else will be there. So I'll just hit save and then dang it, it just went into the wrong folder. Yeah, I'm a mess.
I have to make sure everything's like in its own whatever, because I will absolutely either forget it or I won't be able to go back. I will never remember. Like I have to keep everything like a certain, I don't know.
See, but that's why you put together such amazing presentations.
Oh, thank you.
Whenever you do them, because you were just so meticulous and organized, but it makes sense and it goes in order and there's no chaos. And then there's like people like us that are, you know, stumbling through and it's like, we might get to that today. I don't know. It depends on
somewhere.
No, but I feel like it's like, oh, it's great. You're organized. But I feel like, I'm like, Michelle, why it takes you double the time? Because as you're organizing it all or whatever you're doing, that 2 days just went by before you even touched like actual research or putting anything together. And that's sometimes we're like, you know, intended.
True, but
maybe
you don't
20
get
slides.
squirrel moments in the middle of a live where you like, I brought something up the other day and told them that I was going to show it. And then I went to the chat and read something and I never showed the thing that I told them I was going to show because I just started talking.
All the time. Me and her do it all the time. If we even get a little, like, especially if it's on a subject that we want to, oh my God, forget it. I think we did it last week and we were on it for almost 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, that doesn't take much.
I'm like, I know I have this and I'm getting irritated that I can't actually find it.
Did they tell us who the witness is going to be Friday? I don't even remember if he said like what direction he's on.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, if they did,
I hope they don't have any more calls for a while. I know there's going to be more because she didn't stop talking for so long, but I don't want to hear her voice for a little bit.
Yeah. Like
I think I've listened to that like 8 times now, the first one.
Oh gosh, I know me
had
too.
Headphones in and that was a nightmare too. Like I don't suggest it. I attempted to do it 2 times speed, 1.5, keeping her normal. Just I got up out of my chair and physically felt angry, like was angry going to sleep 2 nights in a row. I was like, this is absolutely crazy. To hear her manipulation is just, at this point, I don't even have a word but disgusting. She's just an evil, evil human being.
She really is.
Mm-hmm.
And she does it so, okay, like on the calls, you can hear her getting hysteric and stuff like that. But during that body camera footage, she was so calm. She stood feet away from where she brutally murdered this child and had like a whole just normal conversation. Like, how do you do that?
And you notice she's so used to using that manipulation with Al more than anybody, that her whole point with that whole immunity bullshit situation was only to get him, because she's so used to getting him to take care of her mess, was in her mind was a way for her to feel comfortable for a minute and have him advocate for her. Like in her mind that she even thought that, like that she just entitled, worrying about her car, like just so selfish. Like, and I'm using nice words here. I promise you guys, I'm using such nice words. I just, those phone calls for me said it all about how that home went down, their relationship, how she mothered those children. And she loves Harley, boy. You can hear the love she has for Harley, because it's like nothing when it comes to the other two, like nothing.
Did you see that Plunder put up one of her older videos that was like T's profile, and she shows one of the dance parties that they had whenever the kids left? So
yeah, no, I missed that.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
Yeah,
That was
this
good.
morning I think she put it back up, or
Mhm.
last night. I don't remember when I watched it.
I'll
But
have to watch it. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. So you're right. So most, and probably nobody even cares, and they're like, this is not important. Why are we even talking about it? But most of these probably are the people from the car wash, the people from Petco. They had people from.
there's Macon's name on there. That's the guy who found him.
Where's that one?
Fourth one down.
Oh, Macon Ponder. I was looking for Macon last time. Yeah, Macon Ponder. Okay, so he already testified. And then
Yep.
this is the law enforcement, and we still have not gotten any indication on why there's Rhode Island people there. But it did have 5 on the other witness list, and now it has 4. So
I'm really interested about that because it had to have been something, obviously, whenever she was on the run, quote unquote. You think she was going to go into Mexico? Macon said it was only 8 miles away.
Mhm. Mhm.
I wonder if she Googled, do I need a passport to go into Mexico?
Yeah. Wouldn't be
she
surprised.
talked about how she couldn't go anywhere because she didn't have her passport.
Yeah. They took my everything, and oh my goodness, I can't do anything. I can't live my life. That was the line. I wrote that down. They were right. They were tracking that rental.
Yeah, they did. They had a tracker
They
on
put
the
a
rental.
tracker on it. Mm-hmm. They're all making fun of me. Stop it, you guys. You missed the days whenever I used to unplug my microphone completely, Heather. It was horrible. I would hold it all the time. And like I have a sewing desk and it has a little lever on the bottom to like up and down my sewing machine. You know what I mean? And I would get the cord hooked on the sewing desk and spin while I was talking, like ranting and raving and stuff, and unplug it. And then you had to completely leave the stream and come back in. So sometimes it would take like 3 minutes to get back in. It was awful.
Why do I feel like I remember one of those lives? I do. I feel like I do. It was, yep. When I very first came onto YouTube, I remember. I started
the first time I found your channel was recommended by Michelle.
I love Sweet Mom.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was during Kylie Rodney's case. And I think the very first live stream of yours I ever watched was when you were doing the map about the black bodysuit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, I can remember some
turned
stuff.
into a hot mess. Yep.
Of course it did.
I like have the tendency to like cover stuff, and then as soon as it gets big, I'm like, okay, I'm not needed here anymore, and I just run.
No,
like,
but that is what I admire that so much about you, because you know what? Sometimes whether the case takes off or not, you stick with it, and when no one's really talking about it before it gets to traction or anything like that, I don't care. I'll say it. You're covering it anyway. You know, like, and that says so much for you as a person, because it shows how much you genuinely care for what you do. Like, you genuinely care for every missing child, every abused child under these type of circumstances. Like, you stick, and not just with the cases, you stick with the family. And I think that's so, like, I know what that's like. And I've watched you do it way longer than me, and you still continue to carry a lot of it out, where it became a little harder for me. And no, that's so admirable. You just keep doing exactly what you're helping so many kids and families out there. Look at all those cases that you cover, like all those kids.
Yeah.
Some of these names, they don't hit.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard sometimes, but yeah, I mean, it's important. Somebody has to do it, right?
Right.
I couldn't imagine if it was me, if it was one of my kids out there missing and nobody wanted to pay attention because they weren't, this week's photo op, or they weren't the popular case, or they're just another runaway. I would hate that.
That's always where, like, we try to come from, like, if I was the mother, I was the father, this is the family's worst nightmare, and all they want is help. Like, they don't even know how to plead for the help sometimes, and you're just like, you would want everybody to, rally around you and find your baby, like, and
it's hard though. There's so many. And then it's hard because you cover cases as you get attached to different angles of it. There's cases that are obviously happening, and I don't mean it mean. I just don't have an attachment to it. And so I
agree. And I've learned that I have to slow down too, because if I do form an attachment to every case that I cover, which I try to have some type of connection before I do it, so that there is that level of passion and stuff. You know what I mean? But I found that if I try to overwhelm with too much, I become too much like a news station and less like a advocate. right? And so
Yep.
I want to make sure that I can focus and actually put the dedication there. So I'm trying to step back a little bit on how many and put more quality behind it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. It's
Mhm.
hard though. It's hard for me. Like I've always been very interested in the dynamic and like the research behind that, like trying to figure out what's happening, and there's always like an attachment too. Like, so Gannon's birthday is in September of 2008. My son's birthday is in August of 2008. They're literally the same age. And so that like just drew me immediately to Gannon's case. And then obviously there's all the intricate pieces that happened after, and the crazy social media that it took on with the families. So I like that part of it, because I like the research part of it, but I want to make sure that I don't ever lose. And I said this at the end of my pre-recorded video, and I hope people really took it to heart, because we talk so much about cases and we talk about the perpetrators of the case, and we don't typically talk a lot about the victims of the case. So in the long run, we'll remember how crazy Letitia Stauch is, but will people really remember that Gannon was an 11-year-old boy, and as that cop said, with his a big adult teeth with his gap in the middle, who was goofy and made goofy videos and made goofy photos for his mom, and and was a mommy's boy? Will people remember that? And I think that's where I struggle. And once the cases become so much about the BS, that's when I can't cover them anymore. I listen to the stuff like Summer Wells. I was completely attached to Summer Wells, still am, but I can hardly like listen to YouTube about Summer Wells,
Right.
because it's pure chaos and just
It's just so much crap.
Right.
I've had so many people ask me to cover Summer, and I told them I couldn't. I could not cover Summer Wells because I literally could not keep up with the drama and the rumors. How do you stay on top of that? And that's what people want to hear about, right? They want more details and more story on the stuff that their favorite creator put out.
Yep.
And
And
I
it's like-
can't, there's no way. It's just
It's
a
like-
circus.
The drama just follows, and it's not about Summer anymore. And then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, Summer's more than enough out there, and there's a ton of people covering her. Let's move on to the next now. Like it's
Absolutely.
And
Sorry, I
again-
didn't mean to get us off on this little rabbit trail, but
It's totally true.
we do it all the time.
That's why I was really drawn to your channel, or probably why Michelle was, and then told me to come over there, because it's not like that. And I really appreciate that, because that's not. And here's the thing, is channels that are like that don't get the credit that they deserve. People want the sensationalized bullshit, and that's not
Oh, heck yeah.
every person, because
it is slow growth,
like that.
slow.
Right, because
But it's okay.
There's an actual, but it's a solid community that doesn't have bullshit.
Yeah. They are actually there to I can honestly say that every time, even from the beginning of going into Sleuth Mom's chats, for them, pretty much everybody in there, if they're not a viewer, they are an advocate for a child, or they feel very, very strong in changing laws and things like that to protect children. Like Sleuth Mom, just I don't know how you do it. I really, really don't. And you do. I will always be just how she keeps the connection, and you see new faces all the time. She doesn't just worry, like you said, about all the bullshit and everything that goes with it. She just covers the case. And I promise though, your heart's so pure, and the way you're doing it, and like you said, it's kind of slow moving in that sense, you feel for you, but it's that time's going to come for you, just because you work all those different cases and your heart's in it for all the right reasons. It's going to happen. And when it does, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. So
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the kind words.
you deserve them.
Yeah, don't change who you are to fit any crap on here. That's how I feel.
Nope, not at all.
No, never. Gannon, honestly, I think a lot of you guys already have heard my reason for covering him, but my sister-in-law, my nephew was in his sister's class, and she called us day one, and that's how I got attached to this.
Oh, wow.
And then I got attached to Oren and Orson because they went missing the day before my son's birthday. I was setting up for his birthday party and got told about them, and I just got hooked on because, like, oh my God, 2 babies are just missing, and they looked just like my son. You know what I mean? And so that was a hard one for me. So I'm really upset that the trials are running together It sucks.
I'm just so mad the way they're even doing their trial too. I'm just pissed at that. We should be able to see. I do. I just feel we should see their faces. We should see their faces.
I think so too. It upsets me. And they actually have a camera in the West courtroom, so it's not even that they can't. They can't
just
stream
not.
it. They can't. They're choosing.
And it's frustrating. I feel like Trezell and Jacqueline were trying to hide their faces the same way Letitia did. And that's why it makes it that much more important to put their faces on blast. That's why T is on my trial photos, on my thumbnails, because she doesn't want her face out there. She doesn't want people to see her. I will put her freaking ring looking, whatever that thing's name,
no
face
problem
on every thumbnail through
That's
all
right.
this. Yep.
That's right.
But
You
we'll
don't deserve
remember Gannon
respect
through the chat.
Right. Like they're worried about their shame. Really at this point?
Have the right to hide.
Thank you. They don't have the right to have this. We shouldn't be shamed. What? We are way past that point. We are way past that point. Sorry. And again, I don't care about your rights. I don't.
Thank you, Vicky.
Oh, Vicky G.
Samara. Thank you, Justin. Yes. That's her name. The ring lady.
The ring lady.
Out
her name. Hi, TNT. Thank you. I know. I know. It's hard.
Lana.
Oh, why? But anyways, what's this document you got up here?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is.
We'll all start crying soon about all the missing kids in
I know, right?
Trial in its entirety. Yes, Heather Brett, I did hear that, and they didn't count Larry, which makes me very sad, because he is also a victim, and he was his grandpa. I don't the biological blood crap isn't always how life is.
That's
and
right.
In this day and age, you'd think that our society would know that. And now we're taking away rights from somebody who made a choice to be his grandpa, instead of, and we'd like to give rights to people who don't give a shit about children. It just makes no sense to me.
Exactly.
So that I'm upset about that, but I am happy for Kay. And then somebody else asked another question. Did we ever confirm where she hid Gannon? No. I'm actually very curious where she hid Gannon that night. I was hoping that we were going to have, like, on the 27th, because I thought they would have, with the body cam, that we would be able to clearly know whether that suitcase was in the house or in the car or where it was. The prosecution is going with that she did put that suitcase at Palmer Lake and then went back and retrieved it. I don't know if they can prove that, but I think that we can all infer that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then
that's what we wanted to do, was listen to that cop again and see what he said about the suitcase afterwards.
TNT, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. She does look like the lady from The Ring. She does, yeah. Her victims weren't given that grace, so neither should they. Yep. It's very hard because they do have rights, and I have talked about this many, many times, where I do believe in the justice system. I do believe in innocent until proven guilty. I struggle with the part that, for me, she's already been proven guilty. Like, it's done. Like, I know that has to still go through the court system, but for me, emotionally, it's done. And when I covered Murdaugh, I didn't have all that backstory, and people would get really, really upset with me when I was like, they haven't really proved it to me. And they're like, this guy is a POS, and that's just how it is. And I'm like, I know. I get how people feel that way, that followed it from the get-go, and they know all the things that I didn't know, like how I know about Letitia Stauch. And to me, she's guilty, and that's just how it is. So if I had to go to listen to somebody's stream where they were trying to give Letitia Stauch the benefit of the doubt, I would freak out. I know that. And that's why I tried to give as much grace as I could during Murdaugh, because I'm like, I know people are really pissed at me, but I can't tell you I feel something I don't feel.
We're both up there going, we don't know, though. We just don't know. And then everybody with their facts and everything that they know from all this time, we're like, yeah, but we don't feel it.
I know. People were so mad.
Let me ask you guys, knowing that she was confident enough to represent herself at one point, pro se, what do you think the piece of evidence was that she was looking for to see if they had it before she decided, oh crap, nope, I need an attorney? Because she went to that one law library. They gave her stuff. She went to the one law library, seen stuff, and was just like, nope, I'm out.
This might have to be you.
That's a good question. I don't know. I've considered it was that she researched the crap out of not guilty by reason of insanity and knew that she needed somebody who could get these people that she wanted to say that she was,
or the doctors.
She needed lawyers to do it, to get to the doctors, the experts that she was going to need. That's the only thing I honestly don't know, but that was my speculation. And I don't think that I don't think she could go through. I mean, the judge told her, there's over 30,000 documents here that you have to be able to go through in like 2 weeks. Can you do it? And she's like, yeah, I can do it. And then I think her excuse was, well, I couldn't do it, and they didn't give me time, and they didn't give me the reports on time, and they put threats in my peanut butter instead. So,
I was worried about being tired while she was in the law library because of her medication they had her on. That was her excuse. But at the same time, like, she had this ace in her hole, and now I wonder, was the ace in the hole DID?
Wait. That's what I think. I think that's what she was trying to go with, is that she was trying to look for her research was trying to point her to something where she knew that they had too much evidence that she was going to be found guilty. So she had to come up with a secondary plan. And Avery said they just announced that Larry will attend the trial. Okay. I haven't seen that. So I hope they're letting him in. That would be, they should.
Larry and Kay both deserve to be there.
Okay, so this is the defense's witness list. And I realized that they put everybody's phone numbers on here. So I'm going to I'm going to try to go fast, I think. So Dorothy Lewis is on here. They have an amended one. This is the Dr. Rhonda Niederhauser. So this is the one that people think that like there's only one on there because this is what got put on social media, but they do have the other one. And it's, so Dr. Dorothy Lewis, Kyle Varville, who's a forensic social worker, Caitlin Kreck, who's an investigator, Laura Leach, another clinical psychologist, expert witness, and then they have Kenny Ray Hardin, these are going to be relatives of her, Amy Lowry, Deborah Locklear, Harley Hunt, Katrina Locklear, Brenda, which is Aunt Brenda, Amy Bolton, Sleuth Mom, and Dee Dee Moss. Amy Bolton, that's the one she stayed with.
Is it? I knew it was an Amy.
As soon as I saw that, I'm almost positive that's who she stayed with.
It's going to bother me now who the other Amy was, though. The one that
I'm like, this sounds horrible, but I'm going to the Facebook groups and like putting their names in and looking to see if they posted.
Doing that after the live. I love it.
Love her thinking on.
And she was using the name Taylor. Yeah, and Janelle. Those are her other two names. BR the Star says, do you guys think that Harley helped her clean up? I do not think she helped her clean up. I think that she knows more than we know she knows, but I don't think she physically helped her. What do you think?
I think she purposely didn't have Harley. She had Harley to an extent do certain things, but nothing that could actually bring Harley, in her mind, that could bring Harley all the way into this. Now, what happened along the way, something different, because, you know, Harley being 17 at the time, I cannot help but to think that she picked up something and had to know something just off of that being her mother. But I also feel that Harley was very afraid of her mom and only had her mom. And I don't know where that places her being 17 and not knowing what to do in that situation, knowing that her mother is her sole protector, provider, everything. You know, I kind of feel bad for Harley in this situation.
I go back and forth.
Yeah.
How much I feel, but I'm going to wait and give my final conclusion on how I feel for Harley after she testifies.
Now, when I started seeing some of her TikToks and things like that and all that, I was super annoyed by that. And I wasn't really I'm like, okay, this is a little too much. And then I said, okay, let me go into a 17-year-old's brain like mine. And a lot of it is she plays she plays this whatever attitude, like I'm just going on with life and I'm packing my hairspray and I got my shorts and I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there. Like I have a good life, but that's a lot of these kids do this. It's like a defense mechanism for them. Like they try to hide I guess, all that pain. She doesn't want the world to know that she's suffering, or, you know, that her mother had this whole effect on her, or she believes any of this, or any of this is even valid in her world. So I want to see after she testifies. But I do. I feel bad for her.
What do you think, Sleuth Mom? She may have to deal with that with one of the children's. I think T is going to lose her shit when Harley testifies. So this was my big thought too, is she going to, one, do the crazy outburst in court to make her look insane? Like, is that going to happen? Like, you know, like in the movies. And then my other big one was, if she is going to do that, will it happen when Harley's on the stand, or if Landon takes the stand? She has a ton of animosity for Landon, which we knew, but I also, during listening to the calls and how pissed off she was that Landon was staying at the house, it was interesting because the text or the messages between Letitia and Landon are actually out on social media. They have where she's like, you know, can we stay, you know, Landon says, can we stay there? We're getting a flight in the morning. Can we stay there? And Letitia says, you know, I'm fine with it, but you need to ask Al, because I don't want him, you know, I don't want to say yes and then him be upset. And then come to find out, and then she's supposed to pick her up from the airport. She's like, we can pick you up from the airport. And then she never shows up, and Landon has to take an Uber to the house. To know, I mean, I think we all kind of knew that she was like had a lot of animosity towards Landon, but damn, did she prove it.
Oh yeah. And the night before she finds out that Harley's going to testify is going to be when it all happens, or that day before. Like, I feel like that's when she's going to really pull her stunts. It may not be, I definitely think Landon triggers her. And I do think that if and when they do put Landon up there, she's definitely going to provoke Letitia, and we may get something there. But if they really do have Harley testifying, she's going to lose her. She's going to do whatever she can to stop that child from even hitting that seat. Like, yeah.
I don't know if she has any control at this point now, though.
No, she doesn't. It's going to happen either way. The judge is already on to her shit, and it's not happening. So, but if she does go to pull it, I think it's going to be around then, right before.
So
I think so too.
She did buy the cleaning supplies, but I don't think she knew. She literally was going to the Dollar General, and Letitia texted her like, hey, pick up these like 5 things. And so she just picked them up for her mom.
And I don't think Harley knows what a murder cleanup kit is, you know?
And she even told that officer that, you know, she had to get her daughter out of there and the dogs out of there. And I thought that was weird, honestly, that she said that to them. Like, that was one of the red flag moments that I had during that body camera footage. Because, like, why did you have to get the dog and your daughter out of here, out of the house? Like, I think she was referring to Lena at that point. But, yeah, I don't think Harley and Lena ever stepped foot into that basement after everything happened.
Yeah, I agree.
And somebody makes a good point. Like, I give Harley a lot of grace, because obviously her dad did pass away, and now she's only being raised by her mom. And the testimony from Al, or I think it was when he was on cross, and something he had said to the cops about, if you ask her daughter, she's not going to want to do it. She's going to tell you how much she loves her mom, but that her mom's crazy.
I think that might have been just a little I don't know if that was actually said or not, or if that was something to just poke at Letitia with right from the jump. Here's opening statements. Let's give you something to fear, or something to think about, or something to make you sweat a little bit.
I think they call her crazy like we call her crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy and legally insane, not the same thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think she'll face the wall. She'll definitely face the wall. She will not be able to make eye contact with them. Avery, okay. Well, thank you for the super chat. Just clarifying. Sorry, Larry will attend trial after he testifies, not before, but still good news. Letitia, in my opinion, doesn't have DID. Sleuth can tell you my thoughts on why Letitia did this. I'm wondering with the Larry thing, and I thought about this even with Kay when it was up in the air, if they ruled that they couldn't come into the courtroom, if Rob Wood would call them first somewhat like they just called Al. Obviously, Al was a much better first witness, and it just kind of tied everything together. But if Rob Wood calls them first, then that doesn't matter. They can stay in the courtroom. So we'll see. And then on the second part, Sleuth Mom can tell me why. Can you tell me why Avery thinks that Letitia did this?
She was saying yesterday, she called in or came on panel, and she was saying that, she had a premature child as well, and the digestional issues that they were suffering, Gannon had the same issues. And she probably, had a disdain to him because of the constant having to clean up messes and different things because of the medical issues. And I get that feeling from T too, that she literally hated Gannon. She had no love towards him. Yeah, she literally calls him the boy for like most of these calls.
It's terrible.
I don't really get that. I guess I do. I guess it's harder, but I don't know. Maybe because it's not her, but she does seem that she really liked Lena. It just doesn't seem like she just had no bond. She's not a boy mom at all.
No.
And I think the only reason why, I'm sorry. I think the only reason why she even had it even seemed like she had a little bit of love for Lena is just off of the whole girl aspect. And Lena was just, I think for her, easier to deal with because of her age. Gannon, even being as sweet as he was, and I think just even being a good boy, you know how that age goes. He's hit 11. And I still think boys are very, very easy even at that age. But for a person like her, who only's done this so far with a daughter, I think anything attached to Al that was bigger than her was going to be, she could never love. Now, marrying the man, you knew you were going to be someone of significance to, to love his children. And that, the children are always first. And whenever you're with a man who has children before you, they will always come before you or should. And you just have to know that you will just be number two. And you have to just be okay with that. And she was never going to be okay with being a number two, ever. She had no good intentions for those kids. And the more I feel like Al didn't play into her manipulation and then not being around, those punishments escalated to the point to where she could have something to record, to hear his child in a ton of distress so she can have something to send them, because she couldn't torture him. She couldn't manipulate him on site. You know what I mean? And I think that extra aggravated her on this particular such a moment, whatever, like why it went so far this time with Gannon.
Yeah. And she even said to Al on the phone, or Al said to her rather on the phone that we heard, you did to my boy what you do to me. Yes. And he was calling her out on the manipulation and stuff like that she was doing, the gaslighting in that video.
Yes. That whole relationship was based off of manipulation down to how she raised or how she was raising his kids. And I can almost promise you that when punishments happened in the house, she, and he for the most part said it, she was the bigger form of, or she was more known as the discipline in the house. But that meant for him too, and that's what kind of still bothers me about him though. Like, there's no way you didn't see at least 2 to 3 freak out moments that went just a little way too far, Sorry, right, guys.
Oh, you're fine.
Mine are going to do that in a second too, because of my husband coming home. But you're right. There had to have been red flags. There had to have been. And that's where I think we all struggle with all of the adults in this situation. Gannon is, at the end of the day, the only victim in this, and they all failed him, from Albert to Landon to T, like to Landon's parents, to Albert's parents, like somebody in these kids' lives had to have seen that she was hiding at least a little bit of monster.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I had my son, he about 1.5 years old. He is my stepson, but he is my son now. And as when I first came into his world, clearly my way of raising a child wasn't going to exactly align with his. And he had already been raising with his family, his child already for a good 1.5 years. And I had to know my lane for certain things. But I also, when I had suggestions and things like that on how he should be raised, it was taken in, and I was respected, but that didn't come overnight. I had to earn that, and I had to, know my place. And that's not, I think a woman like Letitia took something like that and made it like that. The more Al put her above the kids was to show how much he loved her. And if he didn't do things like that and always have her above those kids, that wasn't love. And it's just not. I'm sorry, my son's family would have checked me. Like if I would have given any signs of just a little bit of crazy, a little bit too harsh in punishments or things like that. I'm sorry. I know my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. I mean, my own parents would check me. I know this. So it's just, I have a hard time just how did not even just Al, I know other people have seen in that family that like signs that she was just not right. Just not right.
I think for me, it's that she didn't turn out to be crazy just after this happened. Like you said, there had to be signs that that there was some, unstableness in her long before this. And I think that this whole discipline thing, which they didn't get into, which I wish they had, they kind of sugarcoat it, like with who disciplined the children. It's like we both did. I would be curious about that. I would like some more history on their on what they considered to be real punishment, because this whole we just typically took iPads and the switch away and whatever. I don't believe it. I don't know if I believe it from anybody, to be honest with you, because my gut says I don't believe it. That's all I got. I don't know what else to say. I just don't.
And to be honest, he could sit up there and say that because they're not going to try and fight against that, because that makes her look even worse. So he knows that there are certain things that even when he was not in the best light in that relationship and under that roof, whatever, he knows that there are certain things that he could talk about and still keep himself in a decent light and put her in a light that she's not going to make a stink over during this trial. She's just not. It's going to make her look bad either way. And I think that's where I don't know. I wasn't really feeling that either. I don't care what's put on her, but again, you're sitting up on your son's murder trial, and there had to be red flags. I don't even want to. I feel bad to even go on Al like that, but.
Well, but I agree, and I think Brian asked a good question: is how long did they actually live together? Because even if you listen to Al's testimony, they had the house in South Carolina, so they start dating in the beginning of 2014. They're married by January of 2015, and I'd have to go through and write down exactly what he said. But not too long after, he moves to Alaska because he's there for 2 years. So that's 2017. So I'm going to say 2015 to 2017, they probably lived together in their honeymoon phase. But he was probably still away for work. Mm-hmm. And then he moves to Alaska. She doesn't go with. He files for custody in 2018 then. And the kids end up living with Letitia while he's in Alaska. Right. And then they moved to Colorado. From the documents I have, they actually rented that house in the end of 2018, but that's neither here nor there. Because he says they moved in Letitia and the kids move in January, and he shows up in February. So now they're living together from February of 2019 again to beginning of 2020. So probably out of their marriage, they lived together for at least 3 years. Him probably traveling is kind of my guesstimate on my math there. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But the thing is too, though, whenever T had the kids and he was in Alaska, Landon and her mom were seeing the kids every weekend. And so you would think that there would have been signs of if things were bad then too.
Like, I'm sure Gannon at certain points would say something. And from even what I kind of get from Al, like he says, I know he trusted her and loved her, but it was when he got to love, it just, I don't know.
He had love for her. He had love for her. It wasn't
like she lost it.
Loved her. No, I never felt like it was like, oh yeah, he loved her. Like a second mom. He had love for her.
Yeah. And
she was a support system for him, but it wasn't. It never sounded like, oh my gosh, they were so close,
right?
That and the other. Like he loved her. They did all kinds of things together.
Like it's almost like had love considering ... is what like I got from him, like that they had issues that Al was very much aware of, and that he, you know, whether he was watching it go down, but whether Gannon and Letitia were just having, you know, those random arguments. Maybe he was given attitude. He's saying, I'm not. He's being punished when he feels like he shouldn't be. So maybe he does start stepping up to defend himself, you know, just with his words.
Why did you think you did it on purpose? The recording is Pinky promised you didn't do it on purpose. What was going on in the household that she thought that Gannon would burn himself on purpose?
Right. He has an accident, lights a candle to cover up the smell. What could be on purpose in any of that?
Any one of my children's rooms and they have burns on their arms that have knocked over a candle, my first thought is not going to be, did you do this on purpose?
No.
Why in my right mind would I think that my kid would do it on purpose? So what was happening? And then Al makes the comment that he was very vague his first interview about his personal life. Why? What was already happening that you were very vague about? And why is that not addressed? Because what's happening is it's not being addressed because nobody wants to put Al in the hot seat about what was actually happening in his marriage and why he left his children in the care of this woman. And if there was something really bad happening in this marriage, then that's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders that I know he carries around.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say that for me, wait, did I get an echo? Hold on. Sorry, I just changed my headphones. But for me, like the thing is with Gannon loving her or having love for her, however you want to look at it, I really think that this is a situation where she would abuse these kids, whether vocally, emotionally, you know, physically, whatever. And then she would buy them things and take them places and have all this fun with them. And so it was just like every other domestic violence type relationship or parent child abuse relationship, you know, the ups and downs. So in those good moments, he loved her, had love for her. But at the same time, he was walking on eggshells. That's my honest God belief about it.
Yes.
And there was a couple people in chat making the comment that you get stomach issues from stress.
Yes.
You know, I was so stressed out when I was little. I had this weird thing about having to have straight A's all the time. And so when I would struggle in class, I ended up with ulcers from the stress of not getting straight A's. And I actually think I was getting straight A's. I think I was just stressed about making sure I was getting straight A's.
Yeah.
So I was actually they prescribed me. I had to actually stay home until the ulcers healed, but they prescribed me no homework. Like they would not let my teachers give me any homework because I was so stressed about it.
Such a good
I
kid.
think about having a step parent that's doing any of this. Like I couldn't imagine. And then he already has stomach problems. He already had, digestive issues. I don't know. That's what I said. I wish that we could get a whole lot more backstory because I do feel like there's a lot more to that. Does it matter at this point? No, because I mean Gannon's gone. So, and now it's just about getting justice. But how do you make those things? How do you make these things known to other people if we don't actually know
exactly
what happened? How do we see warning signs? Sleuth Investigates actually said that she thought maybe that she knocked the candle over. I'm trying to find the comment that maybe Letitia knocked the candle over, hoping it was going to catch the house on fire to cover up, to kill Gannon and cover up whatever happened.
And that's why that fire story already existed to her, and it was this big fire because that's what she intended it to be.
What do you think of that, Sleuth Mom?
Hey, ATS.
Hi, ATS. All right, and then Brian's asking some questions about the bath salts. I'll go into that too, so that way. And for any of you guys who haven't watched, I'm gonna go ahead and do a shameless plug of my own. I have about a 45-minute video on Gannon and all the backstory and the who's who and the craziness that happened on social media. If you have about 45 minutes, watch the video.
Good.
I put a lot of my hard work into it, so I would appreciate if you just give it a view and liked it.
Share it with your true crime friends, anybody that you know loves Gannon. It's very informative. You will get everything you need from that video, whether you're new to the case or you're just completely hooked on it like we are. You will love that video, and there's a beautiful, beautiful thing at the end for Gannon. So check that video out. She did a great job.
Alex, Gannon may never have said to Al that he was scared. I know that in a lot of abusive type situations, the kid gets told, like, don't say anything to so-and-so or whatever. And so she may have bought him things and treated him well and all that stuff so that he wouldn't tell his dad whenever he got home that T did such and such to him.
For sure. For sure. I could see that too. I could see it too. It's just, it's her behavior. It's her. I just can't see that even when he's home. For some reason, I can even almost see her, not on the physical abuse end or anything like that. Like, meaning she goes far when he's home, but when him being home, her going even further is acting out and wanting to show him how bad his kids are and how much she has to deal with and how hard it is for her. And look, you leave all this on me and I still do it. And you won't even look at my naked picture or whatever the hell she was talking about or Googling or whatever. But like, she gets me.
Yeah. Alex, I think it's totally a possibility that Al could have been clueless that it was going on, that the kids may not have said anything to him.
I also don't know. The only real, quote unquote, abuse story that we ever got, even on social media, was the one with Lena.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that was even out there.
No, so that Nan interview, she said that she had went and that she was at the school or whatever, and one of Gannon's friends had said that he was abused.
Oh.
I didn't see that.
It's on Wicked Truths whenever they interviewed Nan. She's the one, though, who made all the allegations against Albert shooting him last and all of that stuff, too, though. So a lot of the stuff, I think, can probably be thrown out that was said there. Yeah.
Okay, so I listened to that video back when they posted it, and then I listened to it again when I was getting ready to make my video. And I went to go find it the other day to share it with Allie because she's never seen it, and I can't find it.
They probably took it down. I really think that a lot of the stuff, okay, because whenever that video was done, it was a year after Gannon was missing, and this lady just out of nowhere pops out and says all this stuff that completely threw everything that we knew into a snowball, right? Because everything she said was contrary to the facts in the case, basically. And it was right before, like, it was while they were getting ready for custody court. And I really, truly think that it was one of Landon's friends trying to help, like, slight Al in the public's eyes. And that's where that stuff came from. But one of the things that she did say was that Gannon had talked to his friends and had told one of his friends, her son, that he had been abused or, you know, whatever from Letitia.
Oh, okay. So for backstory on this, I know a lot of people don't know what this is. So one of Gannon's friends' moms did an interview with Wicked Truths. And in the interview, she says that she went to the house that Tuesday. And there was a whole weird thing about how they didn't get back from the air. Like, she said she was on her way over there, and they said that they were at the airport, but she should have got to the house before they did then. But when she got there, they were in the house eating, and that Al was loading a gun. And so she thought that he's the one who actually went back to Palmer Lake and ended up doing the fatal shot to cover up the abuse that Gannon and Lena were suffering, because he knew that Letitia was abusive, and he knew that he was going to be. Yeah, it was just all over the place. Over here, I agree. So let me see. Over here says, I think that Nan was just an emotional mess. I think she genuinely believes some things that she talked about, and some of the things that she was mistaken about. Her son struggled, so she was emotional. I think so too, and I think that she also had a bad taste in her mouth because she wasn't invited to the memorial by Al, and knowing that her son and Gannon were so close, and then there was like a blow up at the memorial between them all, and I think that she had a lot of her own emotions going, and some things that she probably today would not say based on things that she knows now versus what she knew then. I mean, she's not on the witness list, so they're not using her on either side. No, Alicia. So she's trying to say that when Al came back on Tuesday, that he loaded the gun and went. whether maybe he did load a gun and he was ready to go find out who took his son and he was going to do what he had to do. That could very well be true. I just don't. To go from that to the leap that he drove out there and did the fatal shot is, I don't know. That's too much for me.
Yeah,
I do not believe that.
No, not at all. Not at all. And even when I say like Al might have known something or you know, because he lives in that home, he knows his wife, he knows his children, he knows his dynamic. I could never even begin to think that he would ever allow, if she was really going to the next level. I mean, more or less him just seeing her as like his maybe bitchy complaining wife who at times loses her cool on the kids and he might have to intervene because, you know, he's the more calmer one in the relationship and she's known as the discipline in the house, something like that, but never to the extent of just, no, I don't think he would ever leave those kids knowing that she was in her full rage. Just,
I don't know if we'll ever get those answers, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I think that this is their cross to bear, as they would say. You know, they're going to have to live with the things that they did that put the children into these situations, and
that right there is
a lot of weight. And I just, you know, I don't wish it on my worst enemy, to be honest with you.
Not at all.
Because at the time you're making those decisions, you're not thinking this is what's going to happen. You know, this is going to happen to my kid. No. And I don't know if I believe that any of them ever thought that it would be
this.
I think that even when Al was talking to her on the recorded phone calls, so if you guys want to just hear the phone calls, I downloaded just the phone calls. Those are all posted on the channel too. If you just want to listen to those and not the trial, they're very overwhelming. I've listened to them a lot now, and I don't think I ever want to listen to them again, but they're there if you want to. But I feel like he genuinely thought something accidentally happened to Gannon and she panicked and covered it up. I do not think in his wildest nightmares did he think that something happened to Gannon and she chose to cause blunt force trauma that, as Michael Allen said, cracked his skull like an eggshell, stab him 18 times while he was fighting back, and then shoot at him 3 times and hit him in the jaw with one of those shots, and then take his body, put it in a suitcase, and drive it to Florida. I don't, in all of his wildest dreams, I do not think that that's what he thought she would have done. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he thought discipline, something happened, he got in trouble, she hurt him, it was too bad, and he died. She covered it up.
I couldn't imagine being on the other end, like being him on the other end of this telephone. He's got the FBI there telling him to calm down, get this question, make sure you get this, do that. And he's just now unpacking or attempting to, because, you know, it's not like you're getting any truth or even getting half-assed that. And on top of it, you're getting all these different stories. How does he even like navigate that phone call? I don't. The one where he really starts to lose it is where I'm like, okay, you can hear it in him at that point, that if she was in front of him, she may not be here today. Like, it was there.
I literally thought, so somebody was talking about how so Letitia tells him the story about how there was an intruder and she was sexually assaulted and this person took Gannon, and his first instinct was to take all the guns and hide them or put them in his truck. My first thought was not to protect them from Letitia. It was actually to make it so that Landon didn't take a gun and shoot Letitia. Like, that was my first thought. I have no idea if that's accurate, but that was like, because Landon was in the house listening to this bullshit story. Oh, as a mom, as a human, I'm thinking, give me the gun and I'll just take care of this right now.
Oh. As Gannon's mother and being, I don't know how they stayed in the same house, how they were from one couch to the other. And I even get, you know what, make her think that you're at total peace with her. So maybe she will, like, anything to get something out for Gannon. But I'm sorry, just, you know, we love our babies and no, no. Especially they're at that point where they just can't find him at this point. So they don't know what's actually happening. And just knowing that time is against you at this point, all of that starts happening. No. Mm-mm. I give Landon a lot for that.
And it took away any hope, because I think that when they were flying out there, they did think that Gannon was probably taken by somebody, or he was lost somewhere. He'd maybe gotten hurt out on the street, something along those lines. And then they get there and all of these crazy things start to happen. And then she changes the story, not even just a slight change in the story, saying, everything I told you, everything I told the cops was a bold-faced lie. And like Sleuth Mom said, in that body cam, she's telling that story like it's the truth. He's even like, yeah, this is typically how people act when I go show up at their house for a runaway kid. She told it seamlessly. Yeah. That's sick.
Yes. Yes.
So if I'm Landon the next day or the 29th now, and so there was some big questions I had, and I do have to wrap it up soon because I got to go pick up kids from school. But so big questions that I had about this then was the Tiguan is parked at the airport. She goes that night on the 28th to pick up the Tiguan from the airport. And that's when everybody believes that she went to Palmer Lake and dumped the body. Now she returns back home. So Harley supposedly, she goes to get the Tiguan. No, Harley picked her up from the airport when she dropped off the rental car. So I'm trying to think of, she takes the rental car to the airport, then drives the Tiguan around. So she has multiple rental cars. So if you're not familiar with that, there's a ton of rental stuff in this whole case. So she has the first one, the Kia Rio. She drives that to the airport, takes the Tiguan, probably says she's going to look for Gannon, and then goes and does whatever she's doing in the Tiguan, drives it. No, because that's when she meets Harley at the cross streets of Powers and Carefree. So they park the Tiguan and then Harley drives her back home. This is interesting to me because this is also the night that she's texting the investigators about how they won't let her daughter leave or eat.
Yes. Yeah. T, can you hear that in the background?
Who's there? I'm so confused on this timeline right now because I'm going to have to think harder about it. And not that it, once again, not that it is relevant, but in my brain it is.
T, can you hear my background? Like,
no.
Can you hear the construction in the back?
All
right. Okay. Let me know if you don't unmute.
So I'm just trying to figure out. So she leaves the Tiguan somewhere, goes back to the house with Harley, and then drives. They return the Kia Rio on the 29th. She's supposed to be following the cops to the police station. She doesn't. She goes to get the Tiguan washed, and then she goes to the police station. And
I can't remember which page in the preliminary, like in the arrest affidavit, but it does outline the timeline of events with her driving and like where the Tiguan was, when Harley came to pick her up and all that stuff. I don't know if that
but that's what I'm trying to figure out now. But all of that made sense to me in my brain without her going back to the house. And now with her going back to the house, I'm really confused on how she was driving around or who was driving her around when she's texting the investigators that they won't let Harley leave the house and what do you want from me and blah, 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 that whole thing. So she ends up back at the house the night of the 28th because he says he sleeps on the couch and she's texting him from the bedroom and he goes in there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, also, we never did find out who the person was who drove her home from the hospital or drove her to meet Harley after the hospital.
I always assumed it was Brenda, but we also know her brother was there now. And then Al says her mom was there. So that's even crazier. I don't know.
She literally had her entire family like fly in, which is weird. I guess not that weird because this is supposed to be her son that's like her stepson that's missing. So they were probably all there for emotional support for her. Boy, they probably didn't know they were going to be packing her up and moving her back home.
Were they close to Gannon, Letitia's family? Or like, was there any talk of that?
I don't know how close they would have been. I mean, certainly they all lived in that same area there for a while whenever they first moved there, and T had them throughout the week, but I don't know how close T really was to her family. Right, like I said, she had kind of a rough childhood.
That's right. Because that time where she basically, because like even Al said, she pretty much solely had them in South Carolina for a while. So I'm curious if any of the family had gotten even a little bit of attachment, or did Lena ever go play with any of her maybe cousins' kids or anything like that, but she's not
They all
close.
kind of lived in the same area when they were in the Carolinas, so I'm wondering. I would think that they did, but I don't know. Yeah, the Lumbee tribe. That's what their family is from, the Lumbee tribe.
Oh.
I'm probably not saying that right, but it is what it is. Al's mom, sister, brother, and uncle. Landon and her brother and her aunt comes too. Tisha, Harley, Deborah, Brenda, Amy, and Dakota. I think her aunt comes. Is at a different time that she comes?
I think Aunt V shows up a few days later. Like I know Aunt V stays at the hotel with her and different things like that for a pretty extended period of time, but I don't know if she was there that first day or two.
Yeah, they all come in. Like Gannon's missing, they all come in. I see that, but then shit starts going real weird. Weird.
And her sister was with her, right? Or wait, hold on, Sleuth.
Oh, it's Tisha's sister, Amy, and her brother Dakota.
And
Aunt Brenda. I didn't know Deborah was there until Al testified to that over here. I did not know that her mom flew in. I thought it was always mom/Brenda mom, not Deborah mom. So, all right. So here. Oh goodness. Mrs. O, which video was I talking about? Are you talking about the video I made, or are you talking about the video? Which video are you referring to that I was talking about? I'm talking about a lot of videos. If you guys do want to listen to the trial, Sleuth Mom's channel is streaming it every day that it's on. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, trial Thursday, and trial again on Friday. So tomorrow she'll be back on streaming Letitia Stauch trial all day. She stays on through lunch, shows all kinds of info, screenshots, went over the probable cause affidavit, all kinds of stuff. So it's very informative. If you want to watch the trial, head on over there and watch it.
Yep.
Cool chat too. They got cool people in the chat.
They got good people in their chat. You'll like it over there.
Yep. And then Monday, like I was saying, Lori Vallow opening statements start Monday morning. The West trial will be back in action, audio only. If you want to listen to the West trial, on the last video I did called the West Boys Case File, there is a link in the description to listen to the audio. You can only listen to the audio. It has to be during while it's playing. You can't rewind. It's not supposed to be streamed, and it's not supposed to be recorded. So three big major trials happening right now. I know that CDT, the channel CDT, is doing recaps every morning of the Stauch trial. So if you don't want to listen to it, you just want a nice little recap, she's doing them every morning. If you need something in the afternoon, Alex Erickson's the name of the channel, is doing recaps at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so 8 p.m. Eastern time, doing recaps of every day of the trial then. And then on Thursdays, I know I'm telling you guys a lot of things that you need to know, so take notes. On Thursdays, Crime Curious is doing a live talking with an attorney, going over everything from being inside as a court insider. So that's an important one to follow too. So every Thursday she'll be live doing that. So make sure you're subbed to Sleuth Mom, Crime Curious, Alex Erickson, CDT, and then ATS News. If you want to follow Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, she was doing recaps, and she does them at the butt crack of dawn out here.
Yes.
So I have to listen to her on replay.
Love it.
It's like 5 a.m. she goes live on my time. So ATS News is doing recaps of Lori Vallow, not Chad, because he's not in trial, Lori Vallow's case.
Mm-hmm. And
So
we will drop all channel links, guys, for you to go check them out. They'll be in
all
chat.
those channels. So you've got, I gave you a whole list of where you can go to watch anything that you possibly need to see, learn, watch, hear. East Idaho News is going to be uploading the audio of Vallow. I want to say Vallow Daybell, but I mean, she is Vallow Daybell, I guess, still technically. Yeah, ATS, 8:30 Eastern in the mornings. Yeah, but crack of dawn, California time.
It's the best
So,
time.
You can be with me on the replay crew for ATS News. Did I miss anybody?
You got Allie in there, right? Because she's
at the 5 p.m.
just caught up with her.
Time recap.
Crime Curious with her defense
Curious
attorney.
Thursdays with Chris, the attorney, and she's the insider at the courtroom.
And just guys, don't forget Sleuth Mom. If you're attached to any kid cases, you're looking to advocate in any way, shape, or form, or that's in your heart somewhere, go check out her channel, even her past lives. She's covered kids that no one has even mentioned. And you get the West Boys. She's been doing stuff with the West Boys, and you can't thank her enough for all her work in this too. And,
Avery, what time are you doing a recap every night? And are you doing a recap on Stauch? Because I there's like so many cases, so I know. Yeah. I will be live at least once a week, maybe twice, to do recaps on all three.
Yes.
Yeah, but Avery, I don't know what time you're doing yours, love.
Avery, I'm with you, babe.
You need a schedule on a community post. You got it, Mrs. O. I know. I'll make a schedule and put all the channel links.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie. I do not envy your position trying to do all three. You have at it, girly. I'm going to sit here and be an amazing viewer and cheerleader. Now, I can't do the Daybell. Daybell is so much like ATS News. You guys are, you guys are amazing being able to keep up with all the details in that one, because
it's tough because all three of these I've literally started from like the day they happened pretty much. I mean, Gannon was on the 28th. I had a friend.
Listen, I followed the Daybells too. I followed it in the beginning, but as soon as they started like adding all the different names of people and the rating systems, and I was out. I couldn't keep up.
I'm with you, babe.
Well, I don't remember who was rated what. I don't remember all that off the top of my head, but I do know the gist of who everybody is, all the players, and the timeline. No, Crime Curious isn't going today. No, she was going to go tonight. Was she still going tonight? Crime Curious, are you listening by chance that you can come in and tell us what's going on? She was supposed to go tonight. I don't know if she still is, but last I knew she was. So, yeah, pay attention for an alert on that one. And if she's listening, hopefully she can tell us what time. And then Avery, did you ever answer? I don't go live. I do pre-records and usually have them uploaded by 10 p.m. Eastern. Is it Eastern, Pacific? Which one? You know, we're all over the place. I can't get into Valo Daybell case. I tried. It's too much. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's one that I don't know. Michelle and I were talking about this stuff. Like I was going to do like a pre-record or anything on. It would be multiple. It has to be multiple episodes.
That'd be a series
because it's so much. I do have a very good mini presentation that was put together by one of my awesome mods with Missy, and she came up and did a whole entire PowerPoint presentation on the basics of the case. That is on my channel and in the playlist called Case Files. Bye, Brian. Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Oh yeah, Brian. Have a good day, babe.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm gonna hop out of here, guys, real quick. My husband's home, so dogs went crazy.
I will see you in your chat tomorrow. I know it's funny though, because I'm typically watching your channel the entire day, but I'm not commenting all day. So when I do pop in and comment, everybody's like, "Hi." I'm like, I've been here the whole time. I'm doing 50,000 things while I listen.
Right.
So I will be there tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. Thank you for coming.
Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Just get your mom on, babe. Get those good hours in. I'm like, she never has enough time. I don't know how she does it.
Wow, she's got more hours, I'm telling you.
She really does. Giving her 28 in a day.
Delphi is going to be crazy. And I don't know if you guys have seen the new article that came out that Richard Allen looks like death walking around or sitting around. I don't know what is going on there. But he looks really, really bad.
Hey, Jeanette.
People are like, we don't care because of what he did, but I don't even know. They've never even told us that he's actually the one that did it, but it is what it is.
But I'm with Sleuth. It's time for let's see how this goes. I'm ready for that too.
Okay, so I am going to go pick the children from school. Thank you, Mia Moore Michelle. Thank you, Sleuth Bomb, for coming up. Thank you to Crime Curious for coming up and telling us some of the things that happened while she was in court. I look forward to when she does go live. There's an entire list of channels that I gave you guys to make sure that you're sub to for updates on anything, anytime, anywhere. Let me see what else. I thank you guys for being here. I know that you guys have 1,000 million other places you could spend the last 2.5 hours, and yet you choose to spend them here with me. I cannot thank you enough for that. Yeah. And if you want a quick refresher on everything that has to do with Gannon, it's got all the screenshots. It's got anything that you can think of, I think I put into that video.
Yes.
It is What Happened to Gannon Stauch. I'll link it again. You guys want to watch that? It's about 45 minutes long. And
Please go check it out. You will.
Justice is coming for all these guys. I'm telling
Yes,
you right
it is.
now. We got a whole lot of guilty verdicts coming up.
Yes, it is. It's been a time coming, and now it's here. And we're going to watch it. We're going to cover it. And we just thank you guys. We love you. Thank you for keeping chat kind and cool per usual. And we love you guys. Thank you.
I'll see you guys around the YouTube streets for sure.
Well, hey, Marcy.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.